Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at. The bottles getting empty up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Hope you all had a happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you, and welcome back to business. Now, I know we got rolling yesterday with Low Shack Show, and C-Mac was rolling on there, but we're back in business here. I know last call popped off last night as well, but we are back to our regularly scheduled programming here. Shout out to Joseph Thompson, 1999 dono to bless our action, and he says, good luck, Jimmy and the Cappers in the chat. Make sure you guys get into the poker tournament. Yes, the poker tournament is up right now, available for registration. Jose, can you keep an eye on who registers for the tournament while the show is in progress? Jose and I are in a $50 buy-in. We're going to have added prizes as well that we are going to be announcing here over the next 48 hours. But our big poker tournament is this Friday. And Joe T, one of the winners of our last poker foray, and we're back in business. And we need you guys to support badly. We need as many people as possible so that we still get the opportunity to have these poker tournaments. So a shout out to Joseph Thompson, blessing our action and promoting our big poker tournament. What a guy Joe T is. Justin McKelvey in the house. 76ers is the Stacks play of the day. Looking forward to get back to NBA action here. Let me copy and paste this, Justin. I hope you had a great Christmas with the fam. That is copied and pasted, my friend. Vipe here is on Phoenix money line, Toronto -1, and Boston -1 at +107. Copy and paste that. So that would be Phoenix. Of course. Okay, so we have a little bit of basketball, and then we have some NHL in that one. So that's the Suns. And then we have the Leafs and the Bruins. Let's copy and paste that right there from our guy, Vipe in the house. A new worker ready to get down to business. There's Nordy in the house. Jay Smooth, Joey Harb, D. Jenkins, Nasty Nate in the house. Nasty Nate's son's basketball team is doing fundraising. We're going to help support that. So I will be tweeting that out today, and we're going to be talking about that here on the show the next couple of days. We'll have the link set up. So prepare yourself to support one of our own Nasty Nate's son's Rhode Island basketball team, looking for some support. So we'll be helping with all of that and helping that word get out for our guy, Nasty Nate. Nate D in the house. There's Nut Flush Allen, Sammy Calmer, Grizz to win West, 75-1. Says most laughed when I gave this out a few days ago, but just need them to make the playoffs. Just need a chance, Sammy. Serious business now. It says Rocco Rogers has been out of the hospital since last Monday. We'll be coming for months, but I'm back in action. Hope everybody had a great holiday, and we have a great slate today. Rocco, it is so wonderful to see you. People were asking about you often. It is so wonderful to have you back in action. I'm so sorry about what you had to go through, but it is wonderful to see you back here rolling with us. I'm going to copy and paste that comment so I can reach out to you, Rocco, my man. Philly Eagle Flyer in the house. There's Stimmy OG ready to get to work. What a great group. Some Solutions. Slatsy 45. TJ is traveling back home today. Hope you had a great Christmas. Best bet on the board. Columbus Blue Jackets money line. I'm on that. I got plus 220. I mean, how could you not bet it? I'm right there with you, TJ. There is the Nuke Worker Kong's Clips ready to go. Says doing inventory at work. I'm ready to stab someone. Joey Harb, Dan Kelly says, Bucks have been in New York City for 6 days. Lost the Knicks on Monday after winning 9 of 10. The only loser being to Indiana in the first. They've got to be fired up for start strong tonight. First quarter, Bucks -1.5. Let's copy and paste that information, that crucial information. Dutch Boy Fresh will be joining us for NBA. Let's get this crucial information. Bucks first quarter. Ooh, I like that look. Slatzy said NHL's back, baby. Slatzy's got the Bruins -1 at +110. Jackets team total over 2.5 -129. Kings first period -0.5. It's funny you're on Kings first period minus a half. I'm thinking of being on the opposite side of that. Now, I want to talk it out. And I want to go over exactly what the number is going to be on the Sharks plus a half. But I'm just not entirely sure how the Kings are up for this hockey game. I can explain why the Sharks would be, but not the Kings. I haven't bet it yet, Satsi, and hearing you on the other side is does not make it more appealing by any stretch of the imagination. But that's the only spot. I've made 5 bets in NHL. That's the only one that's right there with the question mark that I'm staring at is Sharks first period plus a half. Great to see all of you guys. Oh, sorry. First, sorry. I thought you said in-season tournament. Thank you, Dan. Kelly McInnes in the house. Great to see all of you guys. The chosen one, Troy Torrance, a coin. Great to see all of you guys. It is time to get into NHL. I also need this light to turn on my computer. I'm going to need this light to turn on the computer at some point here during the show. I expect it to do that. It needs to do that, or this show won't last very long. Jose will have to take over at some point in this show. But we're good for at least an hour. So let's get to work right now because we have a giant NHL card. Can't wait to break down the card with your next guest. Now, we only get them every Wednesday here for NHL college basketball. We're going to have them for college football as well today. But went 2-0 last Wednesday. I'm very excited about working with him for the whole year in NHL. So please welcome the star of Hitting the Books alongside his co-host, Bo Bano, the star of our college basketball live stream every Saturday, the star of the Peter Loshak Show on Tuesdays, and also the star of Here, Betting with the Bag on Wednesdays. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, make it a Mac Daddy in the house. Mac, how are you, my friend?
Nailed it. I'm doing great. How are you doing? How was the holidays?
Oh, it was great.
Or Christmas, at least. Sorry.
Yeah, the Christmas was great. Everything was great here. Short, but it was great. It was great. How was yours, my man?
It was good. A lot busy. People in town, stuff to do. But we need money to be made.
There is money to be made, and we have a juicy NHL card here. And Slatsy's saying he was leaning Islanders versus Pens. One team playing well, the other not so much. Yes, it's a very tricky NHL card. When you have these days off, for me, it's motivation. And we're going to be talking about motivation throughout this show. We won't be talking about too much motivation in our small college basketball slate. We'll talk about a lot in the bowl games. But it's the key here for me on an NHL first day after a break is motivation. And I tried to follow the teams that I could trust from a motivated standpoint. And Stimmy, says there's oh shit. Stimmy, I'm so sorry to hear that. I missed that comment. Damn. Stimmy's dad died. There is there's nothing that anybody can say, to make that any easier. I'm so sorry you have to go through that, man. The only thing that we can say is that we love capping with you, and when you're going through tough times, sometimes you just want to go back to something that you love, and that's capping and gambling. And I'm sure your dad is, because a lot of us, almost all of us, our dads are the reason why we got into this madness in the first place. So there's nothing I can say to make anything feel better other than we love you and we love capping with you, and we're thankful that you're here rocking with us. And really, really sorry, and sending love and strength to your fam, and you got to carry them through this. And it's just life is unrelenting at times. But
it's tough.
Yeah, we just we love you and we love capping with you, man. So thinking about you. And there's Jessica Easton saying, Stimmy, may the memory of your dad and the love you have for him carry you through the future. That's perfectly put. Perfectly put. Yeah, and then Nuke, we're saying terrible news at this time of year, especially. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's nailed too, Nuke. This is no time of the year is easy to handle this, but this is the worst time of year to handle this. So, so many people in the chat thinking of you, Stimmy, and thankful that you roll with us and that we get to cap with you day in and day out. You bring so much fun to capping, Stimmy. You make me laugh every day. Your money in the bank. So respect, and let's get this cash. And our heart goes out to you and your family. All right, C-Mac, let's get to work here right now. We start 7 p.m. Eastern with the Ottawa Senators 12-17-0, 3-8-0 on the road. Toronto Maple Leafs 17-8-6, 9-5-2 at home at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. A lot of these goaltending spots were sort of guesses by the media. Not sure if this will all be right, so let me know if I've made mistakes. Jonas Korpisalo 6-11-0, 3.62 goals against average, 891 save percentage, no shutouts, going up against Ilya Samsonov 5-2-5, 3.79 goals against average, 871 save percentage, one shutout. Now Samsonov has been an absolute mess. I mean, this could really easily be Martin Jones in that. I'm not sure. Do you have an idea of who will be between the pipes here?
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm just as clueless as you. Either one.
It's a big question mark. Ian Shaver, nice to see you. Nate Dogg, Kush God, great to see all you guys here with us. So Ottawa power play 17.7%, penalty killing 71.3%. Toronto power play 26.4%, penalty killing at 79.2%. Senators snapped their 6-game losing streak and got the win in a 5-4 overtime victory at home over the Penguins on Saturday night. It was the first win for the Jacques Martin, Danny Alfredson era, and it happened in their first home game in front of the fans. You know, with a new coach and Alfie also on the bench, you can imagine that the Senators will be ready to go. From a motivation factor, they will be ready to go. Kelly McKinnon saying Jones is confirmed. Satsi says Sens have given up at least 4 more goals in 7 straight. Philly Eagle Flyer confirming that Jones confirmed. Matthew Joseph and Thomas Chabot, right winger and defenseman, remain out of the lineup. Now, Joseph could be back this evening. The Leafs snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-1 win at Columbus on Saturday night. No Mark Giordano. I mean, the fact that that's an issue or a problem for the Leafs just goes to show you how unbelievably weak this hockey team's defense is. We have Ottawa plus 144. That's moved. Wow, that's moved just in the last 30 minutes. Sorry, that's moved down to plus 137. I need to refresh this. So, they opened up at what? This isn't right. So they opened up around plus 123, plus 124. But this was plus 152 yesterday morning. So it's been bouncing all over the place. I find it very difficult to trust the Maple Leafs at any situation. And we've often talked about, if you bet the Ottawa Senators every time that they play the Toronto Maple Leafs, you'd be making a lot of money. This 7 is minus 114 to the over. I get why it's such a high total. These teams both lack defensive acumen. I thought about betting Ottawa, for the last 24 hours. I've not pulled the trigger. I don't know exactly what to do other than to trust Jacques Martin having the Senators motivated. So I guess I lean towards the Senators the more we talk about it. Deshaun G on Brady Tkachuk, 2 or more goals. Take it away for us here. Oh, and Dan Cuz had forgot to mention, wait to make sure Giannis is in. He's a game time decision right now for that spot. Take it away for us here, C-Mac. What are your thoughts on Senators Maple Leafs?
Yeah, shout out to everyone that just was the Jones being in like 3 minutes ago. Everyone on top of it. So I always say best chat, best cappers we have, period. Here in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Is this a Sens or nothing as well here? I haven't pulled the trigger. How do you want to bet the Maple Leafs right now? Coming off this break as favorites. Going back, the Senators have had, looking through, I thought they've had a little bit more success against the Leafs. And they've had some wins, but the Leafs have taken care of them. In the last 10, they've won 7 of them. You talked about how high scoring they are. There's going to be goals in this game. So if you like props, we saw Deshaun already put Brady Tkachuk. I think he flipped on the other side with the Leafs. You could go through that and take props in this game. I just haven't pulled the trigger on Ottawa. I think they're the play at this price. You talked about them, how bad they were, the coaching change, the 3-0 lead against the Coyotes. They blow it. They lose again, finally come back and get that win, 5-4 over the Penguins. I think it's them as well. I got a ton on this card. I wouldn't mind the play. I just haven't pulled it either. To me, it's just play Ottawa or stay off. You'd have to lay the -1.5, or however you want to do it here with the Leafs. Maybe their team total, but I don't want to get involved with it.
Another question with the Senators is they've been horrific on the road. We talked about that when they were 3-3 on the road, and they still played 25 games. Let's see what they look like on the road. Then they lose all 4 of those games on the road. So now they're 3-8-0 on the road. And does the Maple Leafs not really count as a legitimate road spot because it's the center of the so-called hockey universe, and it's not that far for them to come over here? That's a question you have to ask yourself. And I don't know. I find it very difficult to move on them here, but you're right. It's Ottawa or nothing, and I feel like I've got enough action here. Slatsy saying Matthews has been unconscious scoring. Yeah, he's been spectacular. Ottawa's already come into Toronto and beat them 6-3. Now, that was back on November 8th. Toronto then went into Ottawa on December 7th and beat them. You know what? This is just, if it's a coin flip and you're talking about a lot of, I can't. These weighted coin flips, if you're high volume, I get it. You're getting a plus 140 to plus 150. I'm just going to leave the Senators as a question mark here. I do think they have motivation playing in Toronto with Jacques Martin. Then would I prefer them first period because that the Leafs are a very strong team. Osby says Leafs not minus 200 home at cents or nothing. I agree. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger at this point. So we'll continue discussing it or thinking about it at least. But let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern, Florida Panthers 19-12-2, 9-7-2 on the road at Tampa Bay Lightning 17-13-5, 10-3-3 at home. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Sergei Bobrovsky and Andrei Vasilevsky. Bobrovsky 5-9-1, 2.50 goals against average, 9-10 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Vasilevsky 8-5-0, 2.76 goals against average, 908 save percentage, 1 shutout. Florida's power play is not really improved with Montour back. Ekblad also on the second power play. I expected that to happen. I'm not entirely sure why it's not happening. I'm not entirely sure why they seem to have a better, win-loss situation without them in the lineup. They're not better without them in the lineup. We know that for sure. So I don't know what to make of it. I still think that the Panthers are going to be an extremely tough out in the playoffs. A Tampa Bay power play at 30.4%. Kucherov is now the most dangerous power play sniper in the world. Maybe he always was, but him on that half boards with the one-timers, electric right now. Penalty killing 79.6%. Kucherov leading the league in scoring here. When was last time he led it? 2017? I mean, it's very, very impressive. Let's get into the line history for this Battle of Florida here. We have the total right now sitting at 6.5, minus 109 to the over. This was minus 126 to the over, so we've come back, 17 cents. And then from a money line perspective, we are sitting here with Florida as a road favorite. So Tampa's gone from minus 114 to even money. Do you trust this market move towards Florida? I mean, it's fine if you do. Florida snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-2 win at home over Vegas on Saturday before the break. Lightning coming up their third straight win, 2-1 in a shootout at the Capitals on Saturday night. They've been playing without Mikhail Sergachev, who's played poorly this year, but he could be available here. And Logan Brown remains out of the lineup. Take it away for us here, CMAC Panthers, Lightning.
I always love this matchup between these two. It's always a great game with them. One thing I've noticed in years past, I talked about this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, this seemed like just would take the over to me and it would just cash. But these unders in these games, the last year or two have just been money. I think it's 6 out of the last 7, something like that. I was going through it. I think this is a coin flip, really tight game in the end. I couldn't really move on anything at all. I think both these teams pretty healthy. Obviously, Lightning missing a few defensemen. And they've just been up and down. They've been dealing with stuff all year. I thought Florida's played well throughout there, especially early on in the year. So I just couldn't get there. I get maybe a little move to the Panthers. And, I just had to pass here.
This is another coin flippy situation. One thing that I've learned on December 27th is I have to stay away from totals. I lose on totals after the break every year. So I don't really I'm only looking for motivation here. I'm only looking for motivation. Rocco Rogers says, says Kucherov sitting at 299, or Slatsy saying Kuchi sitting at 299 goals. He wants 300 at home. And Rocco Rogers says, wants to back him. Didn't know he was near it. Slatsy is betting Kucherov to score that goal. Let's move on. Let's move on to my first bet on the board. And we already heard from TJ saying it's the best bet on the board. I believe the Jackets are going to be the best bet on the board night in and night out now. I think they've been the best bet on the board for the last month. Now, they're not going to win you every hockey game, but when they do, you're going to get a big plus spot. That second all-Russian line is very, very good. So they're dealing with a ton of injuries. That's not what you want. Now, Sean Kuraly, day-to-day with the abdomen injury. You have Blankenberg, their defenseman, out. You have Jack Roslovic. Both Roslovic and Blankenberg could be back tonight. It's hard to get the information over the holidays whether or not these players who are close to coming back will be back. There's a bunch of them in these games today. Patrick Laine expected to be out for another month, and Boone Jenner out for another month, and Adam Boqvist out for at least another week. So that's a defenseman. Those are three centers in Roslovic and Jenner. Those were supposed to be the first and second line centers this year. So there are issues here, without a doubt, with the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Devils, though, we've talked about, they're playing this Dougie Hamilton long-term LTIR play that worked so well for the Lightning when they won the Stanley Cup, putting Kucherov there. They're saying that Dougie Hamilton could come back in March, could be able to come back late February, but he's not going to. He will not come back until game one of the playoffs or the very last game of the season so that they get the $9 million extra. If you want futures on the Devils, wait till they bottom out. I'm going to move on them again because they're going to have $9 million. It's not fair. It's just not fair. This is the best thing that can happen to your team. I know it's hard to believe, but if you have a hugely paid player who's sort of underachieving and he gets hurt for the whole year around the 20-game mark, it's the gift from the gods. That's what the Devils have received. A gift from the gods. They're going to get Hamilton back in time for the playoffs, and they're going to have $9 extra million. It's not fair, but we can talk about that another time. Elvis Merzlikin, 7-8-5, 3.17 goals against average, 909 save percentage, no shutouts. Vitek Vanacek, 12-6-1, 3.28 goals against average, 884 save percentage. Columbus power play at 15.3, penalty killing 81.4. New Jersey Devils power play is at 30%, penalty killing at 77.7. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have Columbus now at a better line than when I moved on them. I'm shocked. When I moved on, it was plus 220 at Bet365. It was plus 210 at Pinnacle, and I expected it to move in Columbus's direction. That's not the case. They're up to plus 223. I'm shocked at that. So an even better line than when I moved on it. Let's get to the total here on this one. From a total scenario, we're sitting at a 7. It is juiced pretty heavily to the under at minus 123. This opened up at 7, minus 118 to the under. There's been a 5-cent move to the under. And, Jackets coming off their second straight loss, 4-1 at home to Leafs on Saturday night. Devils snapped their 3-game losing streak with 3-2 win at home over the Red Wings on Saturday night. Thomas Nosek remains out for the Devils. Do you really expect here the Devils just to be blocked and loaded? Because the coach of I love Lindy Ruff, don't get me wrong, but the coach of the Blue Jackets runs maybe the tightest ship in the entire league. These guys are going to be ready to go. I love the spot. My guy, Ricky Levine in the house. Great to see you, Ricky. Cashman 19 rolling with us as well. Great to see all you guys. And Deshaun G looking at Chinnikov plus 110 for a point. He's the real deal. Take it away for us here. C-Mac, I'm on the Jackets plus 220.
Yeah, shout out to the chat, everyone up in here. Our guy, Real Deal Prime, the Grinder, Slatsy. Shout out to Rock. I'm glad he's doing well. You did it at the top, Jimmy. He was missed here for a while. I'm glad you're doing well. Cashman, as always. Shout out to all you guys in here, Deshaun. When I saw this last night, it's great that you were on it. You said, TJ, I thought this was value as well to take it. I just, right away, where I was going through the card last night. How can you not want to take the Jackets? And with this too, Devils just haven't been great as a favorite. It's at this price, they've been awful. If you've been taking them at this price puck line, you've been getting burned. And on the flip side, the Jackets have been good. They have been winning all these, and they've been better if you take the plus 1.5. I don't do that. I know you don't do that, Jimmy. I just don't turn dogs at all, ever. But I don't mind, people, you bet how you want to bet. And I think you could maybe like split that here. I think maybe this has gone the other way. We are not getting a better line. Just the injuries. Everyone thinks Devils here at home playing well. But off this break, we're going to go through it. How much you take into that? I didn't think they were playing good hockey before, as you mentioned. Losers of 3 or 4. They, got that win 3-2 right before on the 23rd to the Red Wings. But I don't trust them. I think, they're a better hockey team all around. But at this price, I'm with you here. Give me the Jackets.
Well, let's get you a better line than what I got. I love it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, from a value spot, I don't know how you don't bet them, which means that maybe you move on Ottawa too. I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that one, but this one I must move on. And plus 223 looks like the best spot on the board. Bet online with a plus 220, a plus 223 for CMAC over at Pinnacle. So CMAC is on the board with the Jackets at plus 223. A good point brought up by Slatsy. Slatsy saying, "Do you consider Jackets first period with the Devils' bad record in the first?" That might be the better play. We've seen the Jackets give up huge leads like we did against the Leafs. That might be the better play. I've already bet the Jackets at plus 220. I certainly don't want to put more on it. But that, looking back at
I
this,
like that though.
Yeah, maybe that was the better play. And then Ricky Levine saying, and there's our guy Truth Teller. Thank you. Says just stopped in to show support, respect. Thank you, Truth Teller, my friend. But Ricky saying, I think road teams have more of an advantage because they're more focused. I think that's a great look. And I'm on road teams throughout my card. That they're going to be, locked in a little more. I think that's a really interesting angle. Philly Eagle Flyer looking at Columbus Blue Jackets plus 2.5 and the over 5.5 for the same game parlay at plus 125. And TJ did split his with the puck line with the plus 1.5. I've always said this. I mean, it's even more so in NHL with the empty net goals. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. I want risk and reward, but if you guys succeed with it, then do what you are succeeding with. C-Mac and I both on the Blue Jackets. Let's move on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Washington Capitals 17-9-5, 8-5-2 on the road at the New York Rangers, 23-8-1, 11-4-0 at home at Madison Square Garden in New York. Charlie Lindgren 7-3-3, 2.29 goals against average, 9.28 percentage, 2 shutouts. Igor Shesterkin 13-7-0, 2.86 goals against average, 9.06 save percentage, 0 shutouts. Washington just 12.4% power play, but their penalty killing being strong, 82.7%. Rangers power play best in the league at 31.1%. Penalty killing very strong as well at 85.7%. The perfect recipe for a real run in the playoffs. The Rangers right now are minus 204. They opened up at minus. Oh, that's just moved. There's been a 10-cent move 5 minutes ago, minus 214. So there's been a 5-cent move to the Rangers. And from a total standpoint here, we have it now at 5.5 at Pinnacle. They moved it to 5.5. This opened up at 6, so now it is juiced to the over, but not that juiced. So I want to fade the Capitals as much as possible, but I don't see how you can do it here. Charlie Lindgren is playing out of his mind. The Capitals are at Madison Square Garden. How do you not get locked in for that? The Rangers are more than capable of overlooking a weak, kind of slow Capitals squad. Capitals had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 2-1 shootout loss at home versus Tampa on Saturday night. They're playing good hockey. Patches is going to make his debut here any minute. Max Pacioretty. I don't want to say anything negative about what's happened to him the last couple of years, just to put that evil on him. I hope he's healthy. It's not fun seeing these old guys work so hard to return and then play a few games before being gone for another year. So I hope the best for him. I don't think he'll do much damage, but he might do a lot in the room. Having a veteran presence in the room and on the power play, we know that. Sonny Milano and TJ Oshie are close to returning. These are two more vets, especially Oshie. Milano's been terrible this year, and I don't know what Oshie gives you anymore. I remember what he did give you, and it was incredible. I don't know what he gives you now. Rangers coming up their 4th win in 5 games, 4-3 victory over Sabres at home in overtime on Saturday night. Capo Caco out with a lower body injury. He'll be returning very soon, and Philip Hedl will be out for at least another week. I had to stay off of this. TJ said, I don't miss a minute of a Ranger game. Warning, steer clear. If it was any other If it was any other team, I probably fade the Rangers here. But I don't expect to bet on the Washington Capitals one time all year. I shouldn't say that. There was the gift that TJ gave that the Capitals were in a great situation. They won that game in overtime. I don't think this is a good hockey team. I think they're slow. I think they're well coached. And I think they will not make the playoffs. And I think they'll do a lot of losing in the second half. And I hope to make money off of their losing. But I can't fade them here. Take it away, C-Mac, Capitals, Rangers.
Yeah, will this Caps team, fall apart, as like you were just saying, as this year goes on, with all the old guys they have? But they're going to get a few back, like you mentioned, coming in January with Oshie. The Rangers Capitals, I remember that beat them 4-0. That was a couple weeks ago, I believe. I think it was December 9th, and looked great in that one. This was a game, when I looked at it, when I looked at the total, I'm like, I think there's value with the Caps, obviously. I want the under. Obviously, the Caps, if they're going to be in a game, they have to play, 2 and under. But I think you just take a shot. I took a shot here with the draw, Timmy. If you can I got plus 390. The Caps continually go to OT. They play the Rangers well. So I had to take a shot with it. So if you could find me, I don't know if I can get a plus 400 or 390, maybe the best. I'll take the draw here.
That's a risk reward bet that makes a ton of sense to me here. Let's see what we can get you for the draw. Plus 390 we have right now. Let me see if I can lock that up, see if I can beat that here. So plus 390 for the draw, and we're back here. So no, we're gonna have to keep looking to find better than that here. Let me see if I can do this here. Yeah, we'll give you plus 390. If anybody can find a draw at a better number here, let's rock it. Kent Davies, that's part of the fun, man. You don't ever be nervous about being on the other side. Now, I would be a little nervous if you're on the other side of all of Troy's action. He's up 40 units on the year and hitting 52.7% with a plus 140 average line. But if you're on the other side of me, man, just, trust yourself, trust your capping. It's part of the fun. We move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Boston Bruins 19-7-6, 9-5-3 on the road. The Buffalo Sabres 14-17-4, 7-8-1 at home. We're at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. I've got Linus Ullmark going up against UP Luukkonen. Ullmark 10-5-2, 2.87 goals against average, 914 save percentage. He's been the second best goaltender for the Bruins this year. And Luukkonen 6-8-2, 3.21 goals against average, 892 save percentage, 1 shutout. Boston 24.5% power play, 85.8% penalty killing. Buffalo 14.1% power play, 80.2% penalty killing. Kent Davies says he might hedge out of backing the Vikings based on your take. I love fading the Vikings here, but Dennis Garcia is very against that look. We can talk about it for a long time, but their injuries here. They're going to play this game without Hawkinson, Addison, and those aren't the injuries that it's Wanham. You lose the guy who was taking all the pressure off of Daniil Hunter. I think this is just the fate of the Vikings. It's not a bet on the Packers for me, but. So let's go into this spot here. Bruins coming off their 4th straight loss, 3-2 Minnesota on Saturday night. Grzelcyk has been out with an upper body injury. He could return tonight. So is Derek Forbort, but he'll be out for a couple more weeks. Those are 2 defensemen out for the Bruins. I love this spot for the Bruins. I love it. So you're trying to find a team with motivation after the break. Here's a team that's lost 4 straight. They needed to get away from the rink. You finally have a team that actually needed the 3 days off and now has to come back focused. And the Buffalo Sabres, they're not right. There's something wrong with the makeup of this hockey team. And I could pin the blame on, a couple contracts. Skinner has been, okay, but they've got big contracts out for veteran forwards that are doing very, very little. And it looks like Owen Power and Dahlin need just another year. Owen Power needs another year. But the makeup is just not right for this hockey team. And who they're missing is Sammy Reinhart. Why did they when you're trying to build your team up, don't you want heart and soul? Isn't that what you want? Accountability. Sammy Reinhart is the perfect player for this Buffalo Sabres team. He's the perfect player to have with Tage, but I digress. So from a line history standpoint here, the Bruins, the total has just moved to 6.5. Actually, it's moved a couple times to 6.5, but it opened up at 6, got up 6.5, dropped to 6. Now it's back at 6.5. In this one, I'm surprised at that total. That's not a total for a Boston Bruins game. That's a total for a Buffalo Sabres game. And then the Boston Bruins are at minus 146. They got down to minus 132 at 10 this morning. I mean, 14 cents of buyback. I think after talking this out, and it could change, but I think that the Boston Bruins are the best bet on the card tonight off a 4-game losing streak. Take it away for us, CMAC Bruins Sabres.
Yeah, Cab, I'm not. I am. It's the setup here. It's I'm on location, so it needs to get fixed. Same lights, bro. Same lights. Just new spot. I like this play as well, Jimmy. I saw a lot of that game December 7th where the Sabres beat them, but that team hasn't looked anything like that, from 2 weeks ago. This Boss team they were just so good, so red hot to start the year. It was just unbelievable. You knew one of these losing streaks was going to just happen, and it was good. I think they needed this time off the ice, like you mentioned. They come back here against the Sabres team that I just don't trust. And usually I want them at home catching this number. I can't do it. I'll lay the 1.5 here with the Bruins.
A real deal problem. This Sabres team is going to be different going in the second half. Says, watch this.
Maybe.
I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked to see. I mean, will they be better than 14, 17, and 4? Yeah, they've won 14 games in regulation out of 35, and they're under 500 at home. Will they be over 500 at home and a little better? Sure. But I want them to be horrible this year. I want them to rebuild a little bit in the offseason. I'm ready to move on futures on Owen Power, Rasmus Dahlin. I'm just waiting for the right time to do so. So let's lock in the puck line for our guy CMAC here. From a puck line perspective, we can get him nice prices. Wow, plus 166 is the best spot we can give you offshore here at Pinnacle. I like it. CMAC on the Bruins at plus 166. I got plus 104 on the -1. You could get a better number now. You can get a better number now. Deshaun G looking at Dahlin anytime goal. And Bruins 8-2 in the last 10 meetings at Buffalo. Finally a trend that works in my favor that I don't care about. But I do love hearing about. I do actually, and this is one that makes more sense. This is an interdivisional game where I would really be interested in what the angle is. Wine Time Sports in the house. All right, let's roll on. Great to see all of you guys. Hope you all had great holidays. Here's another spot that I'm on, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And this is two different angles here for me. Pittsburgh Penguins 15-13-4, 7-7-3 on the road. New York Islanders 16-8-9, 9-3-6 at home. UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. Slatsy says the Islanders are playing better hockey than the Penguins. I have no argument with that. Islanders coming off their second win in 3 games, 5-4 at the Hurricanes. Now, it's hard to get information on Pelech and Pulock, and I tried. And the information I got is neither will be in the lineup tonight, even though a lot of sites say that they could be back tonight. Now, Mayfield
out too, Jimmy. Like they're out. Yeah, that's what.
I looked because Pulock isn't skating, but it's hard to get the information. And I told you guys I want to fade this team as much as possible without Pelech and Pulock. And then when they come back, maybe you want to look at them in the futures market. I think this will only strengthen their team, how they've handled them out of the lineup. But they have these two guys out of the lineup. And Scott Mayfield, but Pelech and Pulock are their two most important defensive defensemen. Pittsburgh had their 2-game winning streak snapped in the 5-4 overtime loss to Ottawa on Saturday night. They continue to be without Brian Rust. Nieto is close to returning. I moved on the Penguins because this is a Penguins team that's, we talk about, winning in regulation. They've won 15 of 32 games in regulation. They're not playing good hockey. They're not going to make the playoffs at this rate. Their power plays at 13.7%. Everything Dubas, the fanboy, thought that would change by bringing in Carlson. and it probably will. I expect them to improve in the second half. But for me, it's Sidney Crosby. He, at 36, is having a phenomenal season, and he creates accountability in the room. He is, they always call Johnny Taves Captain Serious, but Crosby's not too far away from that. And I moved on the Pens at plus 108. It was at plus 108 at Pinnacle. It was plus 105 at the time at 365. And I just think that the Penguins are going to be locked in here. I think this is a coin flippy type situation. This has moved 10 cents in the Penguins' direction at Pinnacle from plus 114 to plus 104. And from a total perspective here, it's sitting at 6 minus 112 to the over. I might not have bet on the Penguins all year. Like I do not. This is not a team I'm looking to back, but this is a situation where I'm looking to back them. Deshaun G says New York will win. Bo Jackson says Islanders spot. I want all of you guys to feel that way, and the market to move. Well, I don't. I don't mean to cheer against you guys, but I want, after a break, people to think that the team with the better record playing better hockey is going to win the hockey game, because that's the way I'll make money. Take it away, C-Mac. Penguins, Islanders.
Yeah, this was the kind of the coin flip type game. I haven't been impressed with the Penguins, and it just seems they haven't been able to really get any momentum all year long at all. This older team, I think it's kind of big not having Rust in this lineup. But
Definitely.
Both of these teams, I don't trust the defensemen at all. We've seen the Islanders. Is something going to change with the break? They just give up a ton of goals. It's tough for Sorkin to be back there. It's just everything's flying at him, it seems like, lately. So when I saw 6 here, I think either team can win. I got to take a shot with the over. The over's just been money for the Islanders until that changes, until they get healthy. And we see a difference as a 6 here because we can get a push. I love this over.
I get it. Yeah, Deshaun, it's part of the fun. And shout out to my guy, Ski Profit. I'm rocking a Ski Life shirt here. And our guy Ski in the chat. Ski Life, baby. Ski Life shirt. Deshaun G, it's part of the fun, my man. It's part of the fun. And Deshaun G saying over is the best play here. So, we cap together. We don't have to agree. Agreeing's boring. So here we go. Let's find it over here for CMAC. The over 6 at minus 112 at Pinnacle is the best line available here according to this site. So we'll give you that. CMAC is locked in over 6 at minus 112 here. And I'm on the Pens plus 108. And that was down to minus numbers, but there's been some buyback on the Islanders. Yeah, this is tough. And the next spot is a similar spot for me, again, about motivation. 8 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Stars at St. Louis Blues. These Stars 28-4, 10-3-3 on the road. Blues 17-15-1, 10-5-0 at home. We're at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. We have Scott Wedgwood possibly starting. Ottinger's been dealing with a lower body injury. Maybe Ottinger is back here. So Jordan Binnington, 11-10-1, 3.28 goals against average, 900 save percentage, 1 shutout. Dallas, 22.1% power play, 86.4% penalty killing. St. Louis, 11.6% power play. That's come up since 4.5 or 5%. The penalty killing, and that's going to continue coming up. Just sort of like the Penguins' power play is going to keep. I mean, they're not as bad as the numbers indicate. Penalty killing at 78.9%. Let's get into the line history here for this spot, Stars, Blues. We have the total at 6.5. It's minus 117 to the over. It opened up at minus 106 to the over. So we've had an 11-cent move to the over. And then from a money line perspective, sorry, I got to refresh this here quickly. From money line perspective, we have, that's good. Good. The market moved toward, oh shit, I'm looking at the wrong game. That's why. No, it's not good. Blues are at plus 151. Now, they opened up at plus 131, and they were at plus 157 yesterday. In NHL, I don't have nearly the same concern. A lucky lefty in the house. What up, lucky lefty? I don't have the same concern going up against the market as I do in other sports. But for me, where's the motivation? And this was the easiest game for me to find it. The Stars come in off their third straight win, 3-2 at Nashville on Saturday. They're a veteran-laden squad. Now, little Joe Pavelski is a Sidney Crosby-esque figure in the room. He's going to demand accountability from the Sagans, from the Bens, from the Duchesnes, from the players that you worry about being locked in. Now, Ben is the captain. He's supposed to be locked in. He certainly played that way in the last year and a half or so. But you have to have some concern whether they're going to be locked in. Craig Berube was just fired as the coach of the Blues. Just a couple weeks ago. They promote Drew Bannister from Springfield. Since then, they've won 4 or 5 games, and they're scoring 4 goals a game. So I know that the Blues at home with Bannister behind the bench are going to be ready to go tonight. And I can't say the same about the Stars. I got plus 147. I prefer plus 153. It's going against me. Slatsy says huge move by the new coach putting Kyrie on the first line with Thomas and Bucci. There's our guy Razor Sharp Picks who just booked his flight first class. The Pubapalooza, our guy
First
Razor.
class.
Shout out to Razor, man. God, I can't wait for Pubapalooza. It's not far away, man. Less than 3 months away. So I'm on the Blues here, a plus money. Would I be better off if I took the Blues than the Jackets first period? Maybe. Looking back at it now, I'm trying not to double up in these spots as much as possible. Maybe that would be the spot. Deshaun G saying over. Let's see what C-Mac has to say. Take it away, C-Mac. Stars Blues.
Yeah, I think there might be some goals in this one. I think Ottinger is out for sure. It's Wedgwood, who's been, really good this year. He's been, but the Stars team has scored, I thought, a lot more and have been a lot better all the way around. This, though, I thought some of the coin flips that we got into and off the break, I thought this was some value here, Jimmy. You nailed it with the Blues here. 4 or 5, right before the break. Playing better hockey. They've been good at home. I love the price. Give me the Blues. I got to take a shot. I know the Stars have had some success. These games have always been really, really good between these two. I love them, but I got to take that price with the Blues here at home.
I'm right with you. I love that you're the 3 of the spots. I'm really confident that you've. Well, it's hard to be confident after the break, but the 3 of the spots that I really, really like that you've joined on, I love that. And you're getting plus 151. Here on the Blues. That's the best line available here offshore. C-Mac on the Blues at plus 151. I wonder if I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm trying to keep things as clean as possible, but a double up spot on these first periods, does make sense, but I'm not going to. Deshaun G, that's why I said 3, not 4, my man. Deshaun G. We're on the other side of each other. We're going back and forth. That's why I said 3, right? 3, Deshaun, my man. Okay. And that's the Jackets, the Bruins, and the Blues. If it was 4, the Penguins would be included too. Oh, and Kemper is confirmed for the Caps. Wow. God. That would make me a little more interested, but I still have some concerns about the Rangers being locked in. Let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Hurricanes 17-13-4, 8-10-1 on the road. Nashville Predators 19-15-0, 11-8-0 at home at Bridgestone Arena, Nashville, Tennessee. Antti Ranta has been brought up 6-5-1. He's been brought up from the AHL. 3.61 goals against average, 54 save percentage, 1 shutout. It's rough situation here for Carolina's goaltending. It's very, very interesting because this has been such a defensive juggernaut for so long, and now seeing them so susceptible with their goaltending. UC Saros in the other side, 15-12-0, 2.82 goals against average, 909 save percentage. They're saturated in the house. By the way, this will be the last day I use this janky-ass charger, but it's on. It's working.
Well, is it going?
30 seconds ago, it's on, so I'm good for the rest of the show. Carolina power play 24.4%, penalty killing 82.7%. Imagine they had goaltending. Nashville power play 20.5%, penalty killing 77.3%. I want Nashville as much as possible in the second half of the year. I want them at home as a dog, just like this. But the Hurricanes have been playing bad hockey, and Rod Brindamore will not accept that. He will physically assault you. You know, the worst concussion Eric Lindros ever get, everyone says it's Scott Stevens. It's not. Rod Brindamore kicked the shit out of him in the dressing room for a rumor that I don't know exactly was the case, but and they had to decide between Rod and Eric, and Rod got sent out. Rod's the toughest guy on this hockey team, and he's going to demand accountability here, or I'd be on Nashville. Carolina comes in off a second straight loss, 4th in 5 games. They're allowing goals. They're playing poorly. Nashville comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 3-2 at home to Dallas on Saturday night. So from the spread scenario here, Nashville's at plus 113. They opened. Oh, God, no. Shit, there's been a huge move towards Carolina in the last 45 minutes. Carolina's had a 12-cent move towards them. They're now minus 137. I'd love to back them. I would almost back them against any other team. The total's at 6 at the pick'em. Take it away for us here. C-Mac, floor is yours, my friend.
This is one that you think, like you just said, are going to come out of the break, this Hurricanes team, and play better. But there's no way I'd want them at this price and in this spot at all. I want the Preds. I just wanted to wait on a thing, is Sarlson net? And I just kind of sat with this, but I that's initially what I loved last night was this Preds team. You mentioned it, a dog at home. This is the spots where you want them. They don't do a ton of things great, but they're gritty, and I do like them at home. I'm going to get back to you with it. I'm leaning with them. I just haven't been able to trust the Hurricanes. I definitely don't want them at this price, 135, 140. So I'm leaning to the Preds here. I'll let you know if I move on it.
I would too. My prediction is Brindamore walks in the room and doesn't say a word.
Yes.
If he doesn't say a word, he just looks at everybody and he's just like, about to throw down. And then maybe, he kicks a garbage can to a wall and walks out after about 10 minutes of staring at everybody. Like it's just
everyone gets it. Yeah.
That's the only reason I want the Predators at home as much as possible here. Slatsy says Lankinen out with an illness, so should be Saros for the Preds. And Deshaun G, O'Reilly, Sissons, Nyquist, Forsberg, and Yossi. So Hurricanes, Nashville Predators, no action, but I completely understand the lean and I get it. Let's move on 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to move on it, I do support backing the Predators at home as a home dog in every situation. It's just strange off of the break. Detroit Red Wings 16-14-4, 7-8-1 on the road. Minnesota Wild 15-13-4, 9-4-2 at home. And look at Nunya. Says ready to throw down on an Airbnb or a hotel. Be my first time in San Antonio.
Nice.
The business going to be rocking with us at Palooza. I love it, man. All right, we're at XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. It's funny. I gave the Red Wings as my best bet right before we left when they played the Flyers. Flyers were on second half back-to-back, had travel. And the, pushback, there's a lot of pushback on the spot, but the pushback was all about Reimer. And I was like, look, Reimer's fine as a backup. He's not going to be horrible. And, of course, the Red Wings are up 5-1 in the first period and need Larkin to score a goal to tie it up at 6 with 5 minutes left. And they won in a shootout. It was just a horrible roller coaster ride. In saying all that, I don't think he's as bad as he looked in that hockey game. And I don't know what you're going to get from Philip Gustafsson. And so I don't know, the Wild have come in off their third straight win, but is Jared Spurgeon going to be back in the lineup? Because they said he might be. He's their captain and very important because they already are missing Jonas Brodin. So then they have Hartman and Zuccarello are both out with upper body injuries. They're close to returning. So I don't want the Wild missing those players. They have been playing well with key players out of their lineup, but this just seems like a game stacked with volatility. This total is at 6.5. It's minus 117 to the under. It opened up, or now minus 115 to the under. It opened up minus 107 to the under. And from a money line standpoint here, we have Detroit at plus 124. They opened up at plus 127. I find this a very, very difficult cap, full of volatility. 72.2% penalty kill for the Wild. That Larkin-led Detroit power play with Seider at the point is pretty nice. I'm off this spot. You have a move here, C-Mac?
This was, I thought, one of the quicker passes for me. Red Wings, they needed the break. Is this one of those that helps a team that was just playing horrible hockey? One thing they were doing, too, they were losing close, low-scoring games when they would look better defensively. Like 1-0, 2-1. It's not good. And then they, lose bad, 5-2, 5-3, stuff like that. Couldn't stop anything. So I don't want them here. Wild, you talked about Spurgeon being out. The injuries here for Detroit, too, have mounted up. Still got guys out going into even tonight. I couldn't look at it. If someone put in there Deshaun over, I could see it, but I don't want it. I don't want the 6.5 and an over in this game. We have this huge card. So I pass as well.
Yeah, I pass as well. I get Deshaun's look on the over with the volatility. Mm-hmm. I get it. A couple things here. Reclaim James is back. We've missed you, Reclaim James. Now, Rocco Rogers and Reclaim James both back in our chat. Feels good, man. A lot of people ask about you guys, where you've been. Love seeing you both back in action with us. Reclaim James. Love it. Reclaim James and Rocco Rogers back in business with us. All right, so we're off of that spot. Adam Marrera, great to see you. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's move on. 9 p.m. Eastern. Winnipeg Jets 29-3, 9-4-1 on the road at the Chicago Blackhawks 10-22-1, 6-9-1 at home at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. We have Hellebuck 16-6-2, 2.37 goals against average, 918 save percentage, 1 shutout. Versus Peter Mrazek 16-6-2, 2.37 goals against average, 918 save percentage, 1 shutout. Winnipeg power play at 18.2%. Penalty killing at 75%. Chicago power play 12.5%. Penalty killing 74.3%. Saturated's in Knoxville for the holidays. Got to get you guys hanging together. Did I change the hat? No, I didn't, Michael Buelnan. There's not been a quick change here during the show. This is it's not Broadway, my friend. But Jets, Blackhawks, United Center here. Jets coming off their second straight win, 5-1 at home over Boston on Monday night. This team is playing such good hockey, even with Kyle Connor out of the lineup. The Blackhawks come in off their second straight loss, 7-5 at the Blues on Saturday. Deshaun G, I love it, man. I love your firing, man. I love your firing away. I respect it, man. I love it. It's fun. Let's get into the line history here for Jets, Blackhawks. Jets, that's wager line. Sorry, let's move over to Pinnacle. This is sitting at minus 230 for these Jets. Open up at minus 215. I don't know what to do here. I want to fade the Blackhawks as much as possible, but the market won't allow me to. They won't allow me to ever fade the Blackhawks, really. It doesn't make sense, I think, to ever fade them. And it's sort of like, when a team is at home, you get a better number to fade them, but people are showing up at the United Center. And for a game on Wednesday, December 27th, it'll be sold out, even with the Jets in town. Jets, Blackhawks coming up for a second straight loss, 7-5 at the Blues on Saturday. I just don't think there's a risk reward fading the Blackhawks here. And I'm not doing it. Take it away for us here. Adam Marrera, we are going to be talking about that game with both C-Mac and Daby Cab, all 4 bowl games here after the 2 college basketball games shortly coming up. Take it away for us here, C-Mac, Jets, Blackhawks.
The price for me is just a little bit too big here for the Jets. And I can't back the Blackhawks, just not right now. Hopefully later on in the year with these big prices at home. They did have that win. What was it, against the Avalanche in their losing streak that they've had? The Jets have owned them too. This has just been beatdowns regularly. Jets are money too, all year long. It's just big. So the puck line's what, maybe plus 110, Jimmy, in this game?
Yeah,
right around there. I'd have to.
It's the best bet on the card.
Yeah, I like it. I was just hoping. I was trying to get plus 120 right around there with the Jets. Blackhawks, worst team scoring, horrible defensively, right at the bottom. They, both sides, it's just the facts. And until things start to change, they can't be backed. The whole thing is just the days off here. You know what I mean? That has me where, like, the Blackhawks maybe like a first period would be a good bet. But I jotted this down. Jets puck line, I'll get back to you if I play it.
I get it. I get the hesitation here. Brian Pacone saying Velarde props. Guy's been killing it. C-Mac gave it Velarde over 2.5 shots. Last Wednesday, Velarde, that game, had a goal, 2 assists, and 3 shots. It was just a cash.
Yeah, I think you put on his goal. I played, too, the Jets. Did you play him?
I didn't. I ended up not playing him, but I did double up on our under, on our Kings under. I took first period under 1.5 at +110. That was my decision. I was like, you know what? I should have done it in cash, but then instead I said, you know what? Let's double up on that under, and that it was great. Mel's on Columbus Blue Jackets in regulation at a lofty +320. And Deshaun G said Seattle moneyline live dog upset incoming. And Mel says in Arizona in regulation at +200. Mel watches her Colorado Avalanche every second of game time, and she's fading them here. These teams just met on Saturday night in a 4-1 Avalanche win. It was the Avs' second straight win, third over the last 4 games. McKinnon, 18 straight games with a point. Lehkonen will be out for another month, and Samuel Girard is close to returning. Both teams have very similar special teams, very good. Who would have thought Arizona's special teams would be this good? 23.2% power play, 80.2% penalty killing. Ricky Levine moving on the Jets in regulation. Georgiev versus Ingram. Ingram still playing good. I mean, maybe he's not Vezina finalist, but 2.62 goals against average, 916 save percentage. I mean, he's still playing well, and they believe in him in the room. Georgiev, 17-8-1, 2.93 goals against average, 900 save percentage. He's not being very good. Let's get into the line history now. Mel gave this out on our football show yesterday. I took a long look at it last night. I certainly don't dislike it, but I still find it tricky, and it's these biases that we have. I find it tricky fading the Avalanche around this number. I want a real risk reward when I fade the Avalanche. And maybe this is the right one, but Arizona opened up at +133. They're now +145. There's been a 12-cent move at least towards the Avalanche. And then from a total perspective here, we're dealing with a 6.5 -109 to the under. It opened to -107 to the under. I find the Coyotes a tricky spot, but I love fading them because I do believe the market has them overvalued. In fact, although I like this, I think this correction of 12 cents, 50 cents is now getting in the red. I think that this should be a +150 and the Avalanche should be a -170. And even then, I don't know if I would move on the Coyotes here. But I certainly am not going to fade the Coyotes at home. And then the question is, the Avalanche going to get up for their first game after the break in the 5,000-seat arena? Take it away for a C-Mac, Avalanche, Coyotes.
Yeah, this seems like to move on it. You want a better price. You mentioned the special teams have been excellent for the Coyotes. I couldn't get there. I thought this price needed to be bigger for them. What do we get, from the Avalanche here now on the road? I think he could win this, but I don't want to lay this number with the Avs here. One spot where the Yotes have been good is at home. And we've seen the Avalanche, 500 hockey team, excellent always as they are at home. So I get it. I get the spot here for the Yotes at home. I just didn't pull the trigger. So I ended up passing.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Deshaun G saying Yotes is alive. Mel says Jimmy, the line is short for a reason. Says the Coyotes give Avs fits. I mean, that 4-1
they do too.
They do, but that 4-1 win on Saturday night was completely even statistically. Completely even in almost everything except, of course, the score. I don't think you're on the wrong side by any means, Mel. Brian Pacone saying Arizona better at home, 6-1 at home this month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off of this spot. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Finally, Deshaun G and I can work together with one. I'm on the Seattle Kraken as well. 12-14-9, 6-6-6 on the road at Calgary Flames, 14-15-5, 8-6-1 at home. Scotiabank, Saddledome, Calgary, Alberta. Joey Decord going up against Jacob Markstrom. Decord in that, I think that's the situation. Of course, let me know if it's changed. Decord 7-5-8, 2.53 goals against average, 9-12 save percentage, 1 shutout. Markstrom 8-9-2, 2.75 goals against average, 9-4 save percentage, 1 shutout coming back from injury. Seattle 20.8% power play. Calgary just 11.8. Now Calgary's got a strong penalty kill. They're strong up the middle. There's elements of this Flames team that are good. Let me talk about some of the psychology around the spot here, though. And in the exit interviews for the Calgary Flames last year, every single player said and some took it further over the last couple of years. But every single player said the facilities at the Saddle Dome are the worst in the league. I don't want to come. I don't want to show up here. It's just dilapidated. Now they're building the new rink and all that. That's going to take a long time. Now, I'm sure Mullet Arena is worse, but every single player calls these facilities in the Saddle Dome dilapidated. Everybody, they went home over Christmas. Now they come back to the Saddle Dome. It's freezing cold in Calgary. The facilities are shit. This is an underachieving hockey team. Are they happy to be there? Because the Kraken must win. They're coming off their second straight win. They've had a bad season thus far. They're still missing Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Burakovsky, who could be back, and Jaden Schwartz. But I see this as the Kraken pumped up, ready to go, and the Flames are, back at the Saddle Dome. I want to fade Calgary as much as possible. I think this is a perfect opportunity to do so with Kraken pumped up, ready to go, and Calgary just, blah. This under 6 is a minus 118 to the under. This dropped down to 5.5 for a little bit and came back to 6. I still love unders in Calgary games. I got plus 131 on the Kraken. Right now it's plus 123. I like seeing that. So I beat that move by 8 cents. And, this was even plus 134, 920 in the morning. I thought that this line had gone against me. I got in the plus 131. So, I'm on the Kraken. I think the Kraken's a nice spot here. Deshaun G says Markstrom about to give it up. Goals, that is. Kelly McKinnon said it was plus 12 here yesterday. Chinook. What's the weather like today, Kelly? Take it away, C-Mac. Kraken Flames.
God damn. That is cold.
No, plus 12 is gorgeous. That's Celsius.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Celsius,
Okay.
But that's a Chinook. They have this weird thing that goes on. The Chinook comes in. All of the guys, they take off their lumberjack attire and put on wife beaters, go down to the bar and kick ass, and then it gets cold again, and they go home.
Okay. This line is too big for Calgary. I get it. Where I was looking in this when I went through last night was Seattle, maybe first period. I get some people in the chat, and you're on it. Are you on it, Jimmy? Kraken?
Yes, I'm on Kraken plus 131.
I get it. I was looking at first period here with the Kraken. You said it perfect there in your break. Blah. That's what I think of this Calgary team. I haven't really wanted to back them. I don't want to back them as a favorite here at home at this price. So I get it. I just haven't moved on the Kraken. They've been good in spots throughout the year, and maybe this is it after the break. Doing it. Calgary's kind of owned them the last few years. They played the high-scoring games too. Someone mentioned was that Deshaun Markstrom giving it up. He gives it up a lot more than stands on his head these days too. So I get that there might be goals in this one, but I'm off in the end.
I'm on the Kraken here. Look, I like the city of Calgary. It's a lot of fun, but the arena is dilapidated, and the best players of the Calgary Flames last 10 years only wanted to get the fuck out
of there. Yeah.
Now everybody comes back off their break. I mean, I know Sutter's not the coach, sharpening knives in the corner of the dressing room, but I'm on the Kraken here. Fade my pick says Flames at home is attempting. They're just 8-6-1 at home, but Seattle's only won 6 of 18 games on the road in regulation. Now they've lost 6 in the extra session, so they're 6-6-6. Let's move on to the final 2 games here and then get into the 2 college basketball games, and then we'll have Daby Cab joining us for all 4 bowl games. The first bowl games in an hour and 49 minutes. Next up for C-Mac and I, 10 p.m. Eastern. Holford confirmed for the Blues. God, Slatsy, I don't know if the whole move is around Bannister being behind the bench. And if he wants to say, look, I think that we need to give Hofer more opportunities, we're going to take him off the break, then I'm going to support it. The whole idea is the new coach will keep them sharp, and maybe, seeing Binnington sitting with a hat on, on the bench. I don't know. I'm not really sure at this point. But I don't think it's necessarily a negative. Lucas Ryan, who watches the Blues play nonstop, says Blues over is his best bet. Kenny Kenton, Seattle team total over 2.5 might make his card. Let's go Golden Knights versus Anaheim Ducks, Honda Center, Anaheim, California. I was wrong about Jiri Patera, sort of. I really liked them in Tampa in that game. I was really confident. Now I would have had a great night if I didn't move on Jiri Patera-led Golden Knights. It's this stupid vividness bias of the Vegas franchise being a goaltending factory. Playing the Ducks here. Ducks are getting healthier. Gibson 6-13 and 2.85 goals against average, 906 save percentage. They are working out a deal with the Leafs for Gibson, trying to find out numbers that work. I don't know if it will work. They could have got Gibson in the offseason and had the Ducks take a chunk of his salary, but everybody in the Leafs thought that, how did we get Samsonov last year for $1.2 million? What a spectacular move by Dubas. And then they re-sign him, and then they take it in the drink hole. Vegas power play 22.5%, penalty killing 81%, Anaheim 21.7%, power play 79.9%, penalty killing. Let's get into this here. I kind of like this Duck squad with McTavish and Zegras and Terry in the lineup. And I love McTavish. I think he plays on Canada's Olympic team in Italy, right? It's in Italy next. Isn't it Italy? So the Knights open up minus 215 and now minus 238. I do not want to fade an angry Knights team, but are they going to be angry? Can you trust the anger factor after, eating turkey for a couple days? The total is at 6.5 at minus 110. It opened up at 6, got up 6.5, dropped to 6, now back at 6.5. And Vegas comes in off its third straight loss, 4-2 at the Panthers. The sting of that loss goes away when you go home to your mansion. You have a few days off. I just think that the pain is not there. If it was there, I would say Vegas are going to smash, but it's not there after a 3-day break, a 4-day break. Theodore remains out of the lineup. The Ducks coming off their second straight loss, 3-2 at home versus the Kraken. Radko Gudas and centers Leo Carlson, Isaac Lundstrom are dealing with injuries. Take it away for us here, CMAC, Knights, Ducks.
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for the Ducks, who are just playing bad hockey, bunch of injuries. They're starting to get healthy. You just hit on it, Jimmy. This Vegas team, not a crazy travel, but going to Anaheim, because I watch these games, all of them, all the time at night. Yeah, and I believe 3 of 4. They beat them 5-4. I think it was last year in March, the Knights. But the Ducks had beat them. Yeah, I think the Ducks are up for it, and I want to take a shot out of the break. So give me the Ducks here. Best price you can get them.
I love it. If it wasn't such a bad road trip for Vegas, I'd be with you. I still, though, I'm telling you, I don't think that matters that much with the break.
Mm-hmm.
You take your fucking Ferrari out for a spin, and the pain goes away pretty quick. This Ducks line is plus 210. Wow, are you really getting 15 cents better? Wow, there was just an 11-cent move. There was actually a 13-cent move to the Vegas Knights 30 minutes ago at Pinnacle. So we get you a plus 210. That's a nice risk reward. Ducks plus 210 there. And Stidham starting over Wilson this Sunday for Denver per Schefter. Wow. Holy shit, coin. That we needed Jose with some breaking news. That's nuts. Good God. All right, let's go back to the final spot on the board. Now, this is something I've been thinking about adding here. The only thing that I would add so far from our breakdowns here would be adding, doubling up, or maybe adding the Senators as a possibility, or then adding the first period looks with the Jackets and with the Blues. And I don't want to double up on those spots. I don't want to. So then this is the only thing that I wanted to talk out before betting. Let's talk about it. San Jose Sharks 9-22-3, 13-4-1 on the road. LA Kings 19-7-4, 6-6-3 at home. Crypto.com. Mackenzie Blackwood 4-14-2, 3.92 goals against average, 889 save percentage. They have David Riddick listed here. Does anybody think that David Riddick might be in. Sammy Comer says aligned with Dan Kelly with the Bucks first quarter -1.5, -107. I'm interested in that. And Bedard over 2.5 shots on goal for our guy MMA locker room Millsy in the house. Sharks coming off their 5th straight loss 7-4 at Vancouver on Saturday night. The Kings coming off their 3rd win in 4 games 5-3 at home versus the Flames on Saturday night. We were on that spot. Oh, Swayman and Levi confirmed in Bruins Sabres. Okay, that's huge. Thank you for letting us know. Mel said she'll be watching Canada versus Latvia with a Hawkeye this morning for live bets. I love it. I love it, Mel. I love it. So both power plays are the same. The Sharks power play is a little bit better than the Kings power play. I mean, isn't that just crazy? And then penalty killing, the Kings are 86.6%. They're very good. And our guy, Ricky Levine, backing the Sharks. I have interest in the Sharks first period. I just want to talk about the risk reward of it. Right now, the Sharks are at plus 307. They opened up at plus 292. The Kings have gone from minus 352 to minus 360. And then from a total standpoint here, we are dealing with a looks like I have to refresh that. I apologize. Here we go. Looks like we are dealing with sixes. Sixes, and at Pinnacle, it's slightly juiced to the under. And I just can't see how the Kings at home in Los Angeles are going to be ready to go when the puck drops. And this is no offense to the Kings, who I think are the best team in the NHL right now. I just think the Sharks are going to get up for this. And then I need to figure out if there's a risk reward here. Caddy says, what do you guys think of Pittsburgh New Ground? There's no goal first 10 minutes plus 130. Caddy, I've had a real problem with totals after breaks in NHL. My ROI is negative. You track everything you do. So I'm not betting one total on today's card. And I feel uncomfortable giving you advice on an angle that I have cut out of my action because of the negative ROI. So maybe CMAC can answer it, but I don't think that I'm a legitimate help here because I need intensity. And I don't know if I can get that. Take it away for us here. CMAC, Sharks, Kings, last game on the board before college basketball.
I like the look that you have. I think this is a good, risk reward with the Sharks. Yeah, are the Kings, who just had this break at home, where they just been unbelievable on the road. And as I've seen the Kings home games, some of these games out of the chute haven't been great. Now, a team like the Sharks, they could easily be up 1-0, 2-0. How bad the Sharks are, and Sharks still dealing with a ton of injuries. But the price here is just crazy for a Kings team that's been 500 at home all year long. And like I mentioned, I've seen their best hockey at home, grinding out wins, Jimmy, late in second period and then really the third period. They've just been able to win games kind of late or hang in there, really on the road, better than at home. So I get it. I didn't bet it, but I get why you'd want to be on it.
Slashy says Kings have played 5 less games in Vegas Canucks and are 7 points back. They need to win these games. These makeup games right now. Oh, I agree with that. It's just
but the line is just.
But and I can't take them plus a half. It's minus 123. You cannot ever
you can't do that.
Turn a team as bad as the Sharks into a minus spot where you give out vig. So here, Deshaun G says New Year's gift Sharks money line. I will tell you here that it's easy if you look at it from being in Los Angeles, California, in your spot. You have 3 days off, and then you come to your arena against the worst team in the National Hockey League. It doesn't matter what the coach says to you. It's just hard to be locked in. And maybe a minus 110 at the, but I'm not going to have so I'm not going to bet Sharks first period after this. I'm going to sit back and wait, and maybe that we get a bigger line, but I can't do it at this point. But it's the only thing I want. Is there anything you want in this spot here, Sharks Kings, C-Mac?
No. Can you get me, though, one ad here? Yes. I'm staying off Preds for right now. If you can get me plus 110 at the lowest, if you can get me that, give me the Jets puck line.
Oh, I did. I could get you that. That was
give me, or if you can get higher, then okay.
I saw a plus 110. I saw plus 108s and a plus 110 when I looked for you.
Okay.
So let's go back.
Add that for me.
Jets, yes. Plus 110, Will Hill, My Bookie, Pinnacle, and nothing higher. Plus 110, Bet Online. Okay. So a lot of different books hanging that. So, and I don't dislike that spot either. is part of the thought process that it's going to be packed in the United Center. It is, you're in Chicago. The Jets should be ready to go against Chicago, and they've always had that rivalry. They're only 6 hours apart, 6-hour drive.
Yeah, it's just been dominant. The thing is, it's just kind of the time off, and the Jets were playing their best hockey, I thought, kind of the last couple weeks. They've been good all year, but so this is the tricky one where it could slap me in the face. But the way the Blackhawks just struggled to get pucks to the net and score, and have got beat defensively, I just had to take it.
We're not going to deal with this situation again until the All-Star break. So things are going to get back to normal. There's going to be a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of angles. I try to keep my quantity of action low on the day back off a break. Let's review all action. At this point, I've added nothing. So I'm on the Blue Jackets plus 220, the Bruins -1 at plus 104, the Penguins at plus 108, the Blues at plus 147, and the Kraken at plus 131. And I do have some interest in the Senators and the Senators' first period. I do think that Jacques Martin is going to bring real accountability. I do think the fact that they're playing in Toronto helps them. God damn it. Okay, maybe. Okay, Senators' first period is on a very short list right now. That's a likely addition. Panthers, Lightning, no action. C-Mac gets his card started with the Jackets plus 223. Then he's on the draw in Capitals Rangers at plus 390. A very interesting look. He's with me on the Bruins, but he's taking the -1.5 at plus 166. I respect that very much. And he's on the over 6 in Pittsburgh Islanders while I'm on the Pens plus 108. We're both on the Blues. He got 151. I got 147. Hurricanes, Predators, we stayed off, but he had interest in the Predators as a home dog. Red Wings, Minnesota, we stayed off. C-Mac is on the Jets -1.5 at plus 110. I have interest in that. Avs, Coyotes, we stayed off. I'm on the Kraken at plus 131. C-Mac's on the Ducks at plus 210. And then I don't know what to. I probably let the Sharks' first period go at this point. And if you want to hear the one constant in our action here, the first day off a break, and I think this is crucial information, for those of you who are new to NHL or whatever, is that we're on dogs. The only spot, the Jets puck line, and that was an addition where he had to sit with it for a while because you want dogs off of a break. You don't want favorites off of a break. So important.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. There is our NHL. Let's move into college basketball here. And we have 2 games on the slate before Daby Cab joins us to break down these 4 bowl games. College basketball continues to be very good, and I'm just sticking with the process of not moving on any games that I don't talk about here with you guys on the show. We're on a real serious run right now, but I've never been on December 27th with only 30 bets in college basketball. But what this will create is, as I move my unit size up on January 1st and hope to start doing that every January 1st, if my quantity and volume of action is going to be lower, it's going to be a lot easier and more comfortable to slightly move up the unit size here. I'm not sitting here with 150 bets. There's a lot of people with 300, 400, 500 bets so far in the college basketball season. I'm sitting here with 30. All right, let's get to work here. I'm setting everything up for this, moving my college basketball over. This will just take 1 second. Let's get the this up here as well from the action. Get the line, the public betting line history. And let's move this over here and get started. Okay, let's roll into college basketball. We get started with the Morgan State Bears at the Virginia Cavaliers. Morgan State Bears 4-10, 0-6 on the road at the Cavs, 9-2, 7-0 at home. We're in Charlottesville, Virginia for this one. Morgan State has lost 2 straight. They lost at home to James Madison by 14. They were 20 or 21-point dogs in that. And I wanted Morgan State. I couldn't do it. Because I didn't have the conviction. You need to have conviction. Bobano gave out James Madison, and I just felt like it could be a sloppy spot for James Madison, but I did not have the conviction to go up against, a capper that I respect, so I just left it off. But they played well in that one. Now, that was at home, and here they hit the road. Their last road game was against Campbell. And against the Camels, they weren't bad. They lose 83-76. They lose by 7. They were 10.5-point dogs in that one. So, I actually think Morgan State is better than their record indicates. Maybe that's an easy statement. But you have the Virginia Cavaliers who've now had 8 days off after getting crushed at Memphis. And they got crushed by 23 points. They were 3.5-point dogs, and they lost by 23. So they've been sitting with the anger of that. Shot 39.3% from the field, 21.1% from three. And that you have to think has got to be a motivated spot for the Virginia Cavaliers. So motivated, that they should be 26-point favorites. We're going to use BetOnline's line movement here because they get the lines out first. Don't forget about our BetOnline poker tournament. It is this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can register for it right now. Right now. Jose, can you let me know if anybody registers while we are live here? Jose and I are in. Let me know if anybody registers because we would like to celebrate those guys that register. $50 buy-in. I asked for a bunch of rule changes, and we didn't get them. And there's just not enough time for me to get angry and demand them in now. So there's no add-on after an hour, and there's a break every 2 hours. So things like that I tried to fix, we couldn't fix. But still going to be really fun. And Jose and I will be hosting the live stream. We're going to announce the added prizes here. We're going to announce the added prizes as we go. So it's right now we have Jose Bouquet, Jeff Slaughter, Jimmy the Bag in. Also, there will be a $50 bounty on the head of Jeff Slaughter and a $50 bounty on the head of Jimmy the Bag. $50 bounties. I thought about only paying out in Canadian, and I won't. But I do hope it's a Canadian that knocks me out and not an American, because that will be $70 bounty on my head. But there you go. So please join us on Friday. We'll be talking about it throughout the week. We're going to be talking about the added prizes. There's our first added prize, $50 bounties on the head of Jeff Slaughter and myself. All right, so we're sitting here at 26. It's juiced towards Virginia. This opened up at 26.5, dropped to 26, got up to 27.5 around 1 in the morning, and we're now sitting at 26. If Virginia wasn't coming off of a loss, I would be on Morgan State here, but I will not do that under the circumstances. This opened at 131. It dropped to 130. We're now at 132. Let's take a look at the cash flow. Only 2 college basketball games on deck, but we have 4 college football games. Daby Cab will be joining us for that. We have 44% of tickets and 72% of the cash on Virginia. There was a spot earlier this year that Daby Cab took Virginia as a big favorite, thinking they were motivated, and they smashed and grabbed, and it worked for him. 54% of tickets, 57% cash on the under, but it's climbing. Take it away. Yes, Kelly, that would be perfect if you do it. Take it away for us here, CMAC. Morgan State Bears, Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah, Virginia, you mentioned after getting beat down by Memphis in that game, and now I've had the big break. And I've seen this here, and it seems like they just beat down this Morgan State team. So everything kind of lines up. It's just, do you want to lay 26 points with Virginia? I thought Morgan State, you mentioned in some of these games they play, like Radford, James Madison lost by 14. They kind of hung around, but they should get beat down. What I like, some people already put in the chat, I think this is why I don't want to just betting this under or Morgan State's team total under, which I like. I just worry I could just get over, maybe. I think this team total is 52.5. That's what I was looking at. I don't think they get past that. And for a team like Virginia, who normally doesn't score a ton, they seem to, when they play a team like Morgan State, it seems like they can get to about 80. Their team total right at 78.5, 79.5. And I think that's what this is. I think this is around 78, 50, 82, 55 type game. So I'd lay the points, but I don't want to do it. So in the end, I was off here.
I kind of think Morgan State is a little better than, and they're going to be amped up to play Virginia Cavaliers. So I
hate the motivation though. The layoff, it just seems like Virginia just might smother them early. Maybe a first half team total under for Morgan State.
That's an interesting look. North Ender looking at Virginia first half. Billy Friedrich giving us a 75-47 final, which would just cover with the 28-point win. I mean, you don't want. Yeah, I just don't want to force anything, and I haven't been.
Me too. I mean, I'd take their under first half. I mean, it's 23.5, but that's what I'd be on. I don't want to go crazy here too, force anything.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens in game 2, because I would like to have some college basketball action. We only have 6 games in NBA. We have Dutch Boy Fresh joining us in about 30 minutes for that. Let's move on to 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago State Cougars 7-10, 3-4 on the road. The California Baptist Lancers 7-4, 5-3 at home. We're in Riverside, California for this one. And Joe T gave us his best model play. Chicago State Cal Baptist over 132. And Joe T's been really successful with these. And you can tell it's already moved up to 134.5. Let's take a look at what BetOnline has done with this here. 132.5 dropped down to 131.5, up to 134.5. So a big move towards the over. From a spread analysis here, you have Cal Baptist sitting minus 11 at minus 107. And of course, we have the Nut Flush Allen family watching a lot of these Cal Baptist games live and in person. Let's take a look now. His daughter is off to med school, because that's how the Allens do it. So she's no longer at Cal Baptist. I believe she's off. I think she's off to med school now, but she's going to be a doctor. Jesus, look at the job that Mike and Kristen do. So this is sitting at 11, the total at 134.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this spot. 57% of the tickets and 82% of the cash is on the over. A really nice job by Joe T. He gave it out to us at the beginning of the show. From a spread scenario of 31% of the tickets and 46% of the cash on Cal Baptist. We cashed with the Cougars in that we didn't have them on the money line, but against Northwestern, I have not been back to the window with them. They're coming off that 27-point loss at Wisconsin. They've had a really tough road schedule here. Cal Baptist coming off the 73-70 loss, their third loss in 4 games at home to Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is a good squad, 10-3, 4-1 on the road. They were 4.5-point favorites and they lost outright. They're probably an angry group here. The idea that this team, the Cougars, can knock out, teams like Northwestern in Northwestern, I'm sure has been talked about by the Lancers and by the coach. Take it away here, C-Mac. Do you see an angle for Cougars Lancers?
This one's close for me here to move on Chicago State. I thought we needed a few more points. And one thing, this total's moved up. Let's get to that. And this total's what moved 3.5 points, Jimmy? 4 here?
I guess there was a low water mark of 130.5.
And we're at 135 right now, 134.5.
Yeah, so from the low water mark, from the opener let me get to
131, and we got 134.5 so everywhere.
Yeah, it opened up at 132 at BetOnline, and then 2 hours later dropped to 131.5.
And the problem, if we hear, is Chicago State's defense at times. And Cal Baptist, one of the slower teams, an under team. I think if this keeps going up, I'd look the other way to an under. I think if this got up to 137, because I know how Cal Baptist plays, but they might have easy buckets against this Chicago State team. That's the one thing I worry about. But one thing about laying points, this is why I'm leaning heavy to Chicago State in the points, is Cal Baptist not a great shooting team, especially when you lay a number like this, unless you get out, Jimmy. If this is anywhere hangs around with free throws, they're horrible. 64%. 336 in the country is Cal Baptist. And that's not going to be good. So that was the only thing. Unless they just jump out to a lead to cover, this is not a team that I wanted to be laying points with at all. So I looked at Chicago State, and they're a team a little better. Free throws not great, 70%. You talked about the big game versus Northwestern. That was a little of an anomaly. They're still a bad shooting team. They 28% from 3. They're undisciplined at times. So that was just tough for me. I hate to do it. I just haven't bet it yet, but I lean to Chicago State in the 11 here.
I like both Morgan State and Chicago State on the road as big dogs. The problem is both of these home teams are coming off losses that they've been sitting in for 5 days. It's just not the right
at
angle.
home too against that Western Kentucky. I saw that
73-70 to Western Kentucky. Now Western Kentucky's a good team, but Cal Baptist 4.5 point favorites. These are not points that these are situations then where now I can only look at the double-digit favorite, and even focusing on first half with the double-digit favorite is not being very good for me unless you're dealing with Marquette coming off of a loss by 20 points and they come back and just dominate. I can't. I'm not going to force an angle here, so I'm going to have to stay.
Cal Baptist been rough ATS too. You've been backing him awful. They're 2-7, something like that this year. It has been good.
All right. Unfortunately, it looks like no action here from us on either of these two college basketball games, but we do have bowl action. Bowl action starting out in an hour and 23 minutes. All 4 games going to be broken down right here. Also, we've had C-Mac who broke these games down with Bobano on our YouTube page right now on our homepage. So he's broken them down and then sat with them for days. And I love when we revisit after a cap is broken down, we revisit a week later or a week and a half later, now even like 2.5 weeks later for some of these bowl games, because this was part of your first group, right? It all ended. This is part of your first video, right, C-Mac? It ended on the 27th. Oh, so that's great. So you've been sitting with us for 2.5 weeks. This is perfect. Let's bring on your next guest. And I did update his college basketball record. He'll be with us tomorrow in college basketball. He was not interested in this 2-game card, but just so you guys know, here on the show in college basketball, your next guest has gone 20-9 plus 10.38 units with an ROI plus 35.79%. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas. If you want to smoke with him, got to come to San Antonio, baby. Pubapalooza. Razor Sharp Picks just got his tickets first class. Look at that guy. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, the Magic Man, Dabra. Good Dabra. Dabby, how are you, my friend?
I'm ready. C-Mac, Jimmy, glad to be here. I had a few bets in the NFL, and I did some props in the NBA, but no college basketball the last couple days. I'm glad to have these bowl games here. And I'm ready. I'm ready to get rolling, man.
Well, let's get to work. We just lost C-Mac. I know he'll be right back here with us, but let's get to work. 2 p.m. Eastern, we have the Military Bowl. Virginia Tech Hokies 6-6 at the Tulane Green Wave. 11-2. We're in Annapolis, Maryland for this one. 52 Fahrenheit. We're dealing with light rain and 11-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history. We'll also talk about the cash flow. These are very tricky football games. The bowl games of our youth are long gone.
It's a different thing now.
Oh, yeah. We'll start with Tulane. Tulane opened up at Pinnacle as 6-point dogs. We knew there was going to be a huge exodus. They're now 10.5-point dogs or 11. We have Troy saying Virginia Tech wins comfortably. He's on the minus 10.5. Resisting it all. We'll be in Dallas Friday for the Cotton Bowl. Oh, that's dope.
Oh, yeah, man. Hit me up. You've DM'd me before. Shoot me a DM, man.
Then from a total standpoint here, we have a 43.5. Juice to the over. This opened up at 47.5, and it's just gone down. There's been no buyback at all. We're down to 43.5. Let's get over to the cash flow for this game. This one pops off in an hour and 20 minutes. 63% of the tickets, 74% of the cash is on Tech. And from a total perspective, we have no information. So here we go. Virginia Tech was last seen winning its second in 3 games, 55-17 at Virginia. Tech put up 500 yards of offense in the win. They reeled off 4 wins in the last 6 games, and they look good doing it. They really stepped it up. Kyron Jones looked very good through those last 3 games of the season, and he just seemed to get better as the season went on. Tulane comes in off having their 10-game winning streak snapped in 26-14 loss at home to SMU in the AAC championship as 2.5-point favorites. So now the transfer portal has completely gashed them. Michael Pratt, who was spectacular, is leaving. He's expected to be picked in the second or third round of the NFL draft. They lose Chris Brazel, 771 receiving yards, 44 receptions. Their tight end, Alex Bowman. They lose their coach, Willie Fritz, gone as well, taking the same job at Houston. So Kai Horton will be at quarterback. Horton looked awful when we saw him against Ole Miss, who's not a very strong defense. Good God, this is what it's come to. The Military Bowl here, mass exodus. Every important piece of Tulane is gone. I love that look, BJ. I love that look. I can't wait to talk about that game. But let's talk about this game here. We will start with you, Daby Cab. We'll go back and forth from you guys, but we'll start with you here. We have Tulane Green Wave with the mass exodus. Take it away, my man.
I think there's a couple spots we can make money today. This game, I'm in the boat with Troy. You either lay it with Virginia Tech or you just stay away. I don't mean to simplify it like that, but I think Tulane here, they're going to have to be utilizing Horton and Justin at quarterback. They're going to have to move the two in and out, I think. They've got the interim head coach. You touched on, everything that they're missing. There's some places and some schools that they can put, solid freshmen in there, or maybe, sophomore, second year people that haven't had an opportunity, that are just, waiting to get in the game. Tulane, I don't think they're one of those programs yet. They're just not there. The lines continue to move towards the Hokies for a reason, right? I'll leave it at that. I got action today. This is not one of those games. I think you lay it with Virginia Tech or pass.
Troy talking about laying it with Virginia Tech. Let's hear how CMAC makes sense of this, which should have been a great matchup and is fallen apart here with key pieces of a football team all gone. CMAC, what do you make of this spot, and how much has it changed since your breakdown from 2.5 weeks ago?
Not a ton, because we kind of knew what was going to be here with Tulane, with the whole coaching staff, with Fritz, and then taking everyone else with them. No Pratt in this game. Virginia Tech, I think, is the play. We've just gotten too far out there, I believe, here at 10.5. I don't want to lay this points. It's at 11 now. I think they win the game. And what you mentioned as our favorite guy, me and Babano, Grant Wells got the hell out of there at quarterback, and Drones came in. They've been a ton better. And what were they? I think they won their last 4 ATS to end the year, did Virginia Tech. They are very, very good. So to me, I'd lay it, but I'm not going
to. Troy Torrance says he follows Tulane more than any team the past 3 years. They will roll over. What do you think of the team total under here? That's what Wine Time's on. The team total under 16.5 for Tulane. C-Mac?
Go ahead, Cap. I'm not going to mess with it.
No? Cab, you got a feel for this team total?
Can you guys see me? Because my entire system is frozen right now.
Oh, yeah. You are not.
Yeah.
There we go. And we've lost it. All right. Okay. All right. And BJ says he sees -3.5 for Oklahoma State. Yeah, it's we might be a little late to that fading Texas party. Let's move on to 5:30 p.m. Eastern, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. North Carolina Tar Heels 8-4 at West Virginia Mountaineers 8-4. Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. 60 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 5 miles per hour here.
I don't know what that was.
Let's break this one down here. Total wise, we're sitting at 60. 60, it's juiced to the over. Now, this opened at 56.5, and it got down to 54. This was 54 6 days ago, and then there's been this monstrous move to the over. We're now at over 60 at -113. A huge, huge move to this over. Let's take a look at the point spread for this one. We have it sitting with North Carolina +6 at -111. This opened up with North Carolina +3.5. They got up to +7 a couple times. And there's been some buyback to get us to 6, but still a move towards the Mountaineers. Let's take a look at the cash flow there for this one. You have 56% of tickets and 51% of cash on the over. This big move towards that over. On the spread, 75% of tickets and 91% of cash on the Mountaineers. North Carolina closed the season out with their second straight loss, 39-20 at NC State. NC State had the ball for 40 minutes and 6 seconds and put up 504 yards of offense on the Tar Heels. Drake May, a potential top 3 pick, gone. It was a funny year for the Tar Heels. They started out so incredibly well. They win 6 straight, all these high hopes, and then you think this is the ACC title finalist, and then everything falls apart. And that loss to Virginia, was the most memorable moment of the year. Unfortunately, it was not a good memory for the Tar Heels. Most memorable moment for the Tar Heels of the year. And they lose 4 of their final 6 games. They were favorites in 3 of those 4. They just didn't look good. So now we see West Virginia, which came a long way this year. They came a long way under Neil Brown. Garrett Green, dual threat. This team is moving in the right direction. But has this line moved too far? Take it away for us, C-Mac. We'll start with you. Tar Heels, Mountaineers.
Yeah, man, this has been a rough go here for Mac Brown. The Tar Heels not being good. And the start of the year, I thought they were playing obviously a little easier schedule, but I thought their defense had gotten a little bit better. This defense still sucks, and they are horrible down the stretch. And I think they get burned here today. I think West Virginia is the play. I think as long as it's under a touchdown, you lay it with West Virginia. I just don't want North Carolina right now. I'd also lean to this over. I think we get some points here today. It's just been tough. The back and what's his name's in, obviously. Forgot his name here real quick. Harrell, right? Is it Harrell?
Yeah, replacing May.
Freshman QB.
Yeah, Harrell's in.
Yeah.
I don't know what we get from him. West Virginia's defense kind of turned around too and gave up, and they were just a dead over team. So I think we do get some points, but I think you lay it here with West Virginia.
Daby Cab, what do you think of this spot? Take it away, my man.
If I was going to be on a side, it would be probably West Virginia. I don't know, though. I'm excited to see Harrell. This is what I was talking about earlier. When you get freshmen that come in, I'm not jealous of him coming in for a quarterback that's going to be drafted in the top 1 or 2 picks. That's a tough situation to be in, but that's worth something, right? He's been learning from him. I got to imagine that he knows this offense well. And I'm excited to see him come in. But like I said, I'm not on a side here. I am on the over, and I got it. I got the ass end of the line. I've got 58, and I know that line's moved. But look, together on the season, these teams have gone to the over 14-9. But between the two of them, if you look at their average combined points, they're averaging 68.2 points per game, while their defenses are allowing an average combined points of 54.6. I know North Carolina's without its quarterback, which is a massive issue in some other key spots. But I still think they're going to be able to move the ball in West Virginia here. I just don't think this West Virginia defense is great. I do think West Virginia has the upper hand. They're sitting pretty with as far as their offense goes, most of their key pieces and everything. So I think they're both able to put up points here. So I'm going with the over, Jimmy.
Did you tweet this out?
Yes. Yeah.
And you got over 58.5 regular juice?
58 minus 110.
Okay, beautiful. All right, well, I know you may feel like you got the ass end of the line, but you didn't. It's still climbing and climbing. I know you might, would have preferred to get a lower one, but right now this is moving forward, and it's not moving forward because of a ton of action on it. So it seems like it's the sharp look. C-Max, is there anything you want for this spot here, the Mayo Bowl?
No.
All right, let's move on into game 3 here, 8 p.m. Eastern, Holiday Bowl, number 15th ranked Louisville Cardinals 10-3 at the USC Trojans 7-5, Petco Park, San Diego, California, 59 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 7 miles per hour. When we make fun of what happened in the Tar Heels second half of the season, was it as bad as what happened to the Trojans in the second half of the season here? We are sitting here with Louisville as 6.5-point favorites. They opened up at Pinnacle as 8-point favorites. It dropped to 7, 7.5, 7, now 6.5. So we've had this move towards the Trojans. From a total standpoint here, we are dealing Move over here. And here we go. From a total standpoint here, we're dealing with a 58. It opened up at 57. It got up to 58.5 before dropping down to 58. Cash-wise, you have 47% of tickets and 57% of cash on Louisville. Well, if you're in a 1.5 move away from them. Then you have 31% of tickets and 55% of cash on this under. You know, Braum looked good in his first year with the Cardinals. 10 wins. They've only done that 7 times in the history of the program. And now they're looking for number 11 against this very disappointing Trojan squad. They're coming up their second straight loss, 16-6 to Florida State in the ACC Championship in Charlotte as 1.5-point favorites. And they're missing some real skill spots. Jawar Jordan and Jamari Thrash, their big running back and leading receiver, are both gone to prepare for the NFL draft. Huge losses. But Isaac Guerendo, 841 yards from scrimmage and 8 touchdowns. So he's able to roll there. The Trojans coming up their third straight loss, 38-20 at home to UCLA back on November 18th as 5-point favorites. It's just such a horrific year for them. And, Riley fired their defensive coordinator. The defense was so bad. Fired Alex Grinch. Now they brought in UCLA's defensive coordinator who did yeoman's work with that squad. And then they had a bunch of people leave. I mean, so many people left right when you thought, okay, well, they could be better next year, right? But 5-star recruits, Malachi Nelson at quarterback. They lose Damani Jackson, a 5-star cornerback, an edge rusher, Corey Brown, a 4-star running back, Raleek Brown. They lose their freshman linebacker, Tackett Curtis, who everybody thought was going to be just the pillar of this defense. So the Miller Moss will be starting at quarterback. Caleb Williams has opted out. Now, he didn't look bad. We just haven't seen much of him. And he's not going to be, it's not clear. Maybe he has a huge day here, but this is not the man who's expected to be the starting quarterback next year. And they lose, Marshawn Lloyd and Brendan Rice both opt out. So, just like Louisville, you lose your number 1 running back. And now Brendan Rice is the second best wide receiver. You lose Mario Wilson, Michael Jackson III also. Those are 2 more receivers, not, starting ones, but are gone. God, this is a very tricky situation to figure all of this shit out. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. We'll start with you. The Holiday Bowl at Petco Park in San Diego, California.
Man, and I agree with some of our great cappers out there in the chat, Jimmy. Wine Time and North Ender and Nunya, Troy, talking about how public's got to love this. I mean, I get it, but how can you not love this? USC went 7-5 when they were at full strength. So we're talking about all these people that they're missing. USC was a bad football team, okay? And this is coming from somebody that not this season, but last season, I bet USC up and down and had a lot of, faith in this team. They sucked this year, okay? And their defense is missing key players here when their defense was already about as bad as a defense could be. So you're going to take some of these players out on defense when your defense already sucks. I don't see where USC is going to find anything from this game. I just don't. They were terrible against the spread this season, 3-9 ATS. The only team they were better than was Vanderbilt, who went 2-10 ATS to avoid being the worst team in the nation betting this year. I mean, they've only covered a spread once since September 23rd. And again, we're taking out all of these pieces. Where is it going to come from for USC? I like Louisville here. I'm gonna decide whether or not I'm going to lay it by the end of the card. The number's coming down, and that worries me. I don't understand because it was at 7, and right now we can get 6. Even I think you can even maybe find 5.5 some places, but 6.5, 6 everywhere. So it's coming down as we speak about it. If it comes down anymore, or by the end of this recap, I'm probably going to be on Louisville.
Interesting. CMAC Holiday Bowl, Petco Park. Take it away.
Yeah, these games are tough to deal with everyone in and out. The bowl games have really, really been rough the last few years, and this year, the worst. One thing with SC, they can't stop anything at all, and I don't know how that changes right now. Who just put it in the Miller Moss, though? In the times he came in, he could throw it around, and I think SC could score some points. So I don't love some of these games to bet on, like even the last one, but just give me the over here. I think SC gives up a ton of points, and I think they can get a little bit here. So give me the 58 if that's what you have here.
58, yes. Can we beat that? No, Heritage has moved it to 59. When did they do that? But we can easily get you a 58 with low vig minus 105. Heritage moved it to 59. Heritage moved it from 57.5 to 59 an hour and 45 minutes ago. That's a big move by Heritage. But yes, we can get you the 58 at minus 105 over at Bovada. What do you think of that look, Daby Cab, the over 58 at minus 105?
I like the over and I like Louisville. Those are the two things I like in this game because I just say, like I said, Louisville, their starting quarterback, he's going to be in. They didn't lose too much on defense here. Are they really going to let the backups for USC come in and smack them? That's why I'm leaning so hard on Louisville here, but I like the over also.
Yeah, that's the first appealing look, honestly, where I'm like, yeah, I could bet that. That's the first one that I've heard of these three games where I'm like, that does make sense to me. The over 58 minus 105 for CMAC. We'll hear if Daby Cab is going to make the over official or is move on Louisville Cardinals here. We have one game left before we get into NBA with Dutch Boy Fresh. And BJ's already come in with his best bet. He's moved on Oklahoma State +2 for 10 units. Says absolutely love this play. Says this line crashed heavy, and it has crashed heavy. Let's start with the total, though. This total is sitting at 55 minus 116 to the over. Opened up at 53, and we're now at 55. Let's go over to the spread in this one. From a spread perspective, we are sitting here with Oklahoma State now minus 3.5. What a wild move this one. They opened up at +3.5. They were, +3 2 weeks ago. Then we get to a week ago, 8 days ago, let's say they're +2 still. And then 6 days ago, they get to -1. And then there was a little bit of buyback. Then all of a sudden, we're talking 4 days ago, there's buyback on A&M, and Oklahoma State gets back up to +2. Then starting yesterday, this huge move towards Oklahoma State, and the Cowboys are now -3.5. We're at Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one. You have 92% of tickets and 87% of cash on the over. Then you have 72% of tickets and 88% cash on the Cowboys. A&M closed out their season with a 42-30 loss at LSU as 10.5-point dogs. They've lost 13 players to the transfer market or opt-outs to prepare for the draft. They're expected to start Jalen Henderson at quarterback, a third stringer and a junior. He transferred over from Fresno State. They're going to be without. So here you have a third string quarterback, and they missing their star guards, Leighton Robinson, and they're starting right tackle Chase Basantis. They're both not going to be there to protect Henderson. We know Jimbo Fisher gone. Elijah Robinson has now accepted the job at Syracuse. So you don't have your head coach. Your defensive coordinator accepted his job at Syracuse, and then Bobby Petrino is going back to Arkansas, which has shocked everybody. So You don't have your offensive coordinator, you don't have your defensive coordinator, you don't have your head coach, you don't have your top two quarterbacks, you don't have your star guard, and you don't have your star tackle. And this is look, I understand there's edges and angles here. So I don't mind capping these games with all this fucking madness nonsense. So don't get me wrong. It's just there's a lot to take in. Oklahoma closed out their season with a 49-21 loss in the Big 12 championship to Texas as 14.5-point dogs. Texas put up 662 yards on them. And Gundy has kept everybody together. Everybody's together for the Cowboys, man. You're going up against an A&M team with opt-outs and everywhere, and Gundy's just kept this team together and ready to go. It's too bad this isn't sitting at a pick'em, or it's too bad, that I didn't get more involved in this earlier, because I agree that the Cowboys are the spot, but now do you want them at this number? And BJ says revenge game as well. And BJ saying Gunny is a winning record against spread in bowl games. Deshaun G says Ollie Gordon going to run over everybody. Ollie Gordon the third. All right, let's put the bow on college football here and see what our experts have to say about this spot. CMAC, take it away. Our final game, the Texas Bowl. You like anything here?
I did. I bet this, a few weeks ago. I took Oklahoma State +3 in this game. I just wanted Gundy as a dog with all these guys here. Yes, their defense is awful. Cab and I saw it against Texas. And A&M, I think, could still move the ball here. Looking at this total, it's moved up a little bit. Can we get an over here? Even with A&M's, just all the mess that's going on there, yeah, there's still solid players there. I thought Henderson at quarterback looked all right against a horrible defense in LSU that gave up points to seems like everyone. So I think they could score here. I lean on this over. I might have a bet on it. I haven't bet it. I'm not going to bullshit you here. So I lean that way. But I made this bet, I don't know, 10 days ago earlier, the +3. It's tough to give it out at 3.5. It's a favorite now. That's what I'm on.
It makes sense. And another important reason to watch these bowl videos that CMAC and Bobano drop as soon as they drop. Daby Cab, the Texas Bowl in the great state that you are in the great state that you and your dad played college sports in. What do you think of this spot, Aggies Cowboys?
Real quick on that, it's funny. I love my pop's opinion when it comes to college football, and he's given me good advice this year. I wanted him to say that he didn't like A&M here, and he just can't do it. He can't bring himself to do it. He's way too much of a homer. I was like, but Dad, they don't have their coach. The coach that's coaching is going to Syracuse. And I went through it all. He's like, yeah, but the recruiting class. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Anyways, but back to the game here. I'm in on this game. I took the over. I agree with CMAC. I do think that A&M is going to find their way to the end zone some. Oklahoma State's defense is just atrocious. They're just not good. That being said, they've held together here. Our guy BJ in the chat said revenge game. I think in 2019 these two met. A&M won 24-21. I think they were a 5-point favorite in that game. I don't know what I'm saying on Think For. Obviously, I have that memorized. But they come into this game. Both teams are averaging 63.7 points combined on offense while allowing 50.3. This is just too low of a total, in my opinion. I think both teams score here. So sign me up for the over.
The over, that's being juiced up at -116, the over 55 over at Pinnacle. So you can imagine that this will be 55.5 soon, but you can get that over 55 -1. Oh, Bovada has moved to 55.5, but we can get you the over 55 at -108 here. Does that, and that is the direction that you're leaning towards as well, CMAC?
Yeah.
Is to the over. So the over 55 -108 for Daby Cab. Cab, are you adding anything to the Holiday Bowl action?
I'm going to let Louisville stew with me, and I want to keep watching this line. I've got you tagged in my first original tweet with this show. If I add Louisville, I will put it in that thread because I very likely will. I just want to watch this line for a little bit.
All right, locked in. That's right. That's a good question that you can ask us in San Antonio. There you go. Locked in. So this is official action here. CMAC is on the over 58 at -105 in the Holiday Bowl. I expect to join him on that. Cab's on the over 55 at -108 in the Texas Bowl. Daby's on the over 58 at -110 in the Mayo Bowl. And no moves for Virginia Tech Tulane. Important to note, though, while we have our guy BJ's best bet on Oklahoma State +2, we also had CMAC give that out at +3 on our bowl videos, and they're all still up. So please take a look at the bowl videos. And the 27th is the last day of the part 1 video. So if you're looking at future bowl videos, you can just watch the part 2 full video and get them all right.
Yeah,
there.
this was the last game. A&M.
Beautiful.
Oklahoma State,
Works perfectly. Thank you, BJ, for jumping in. We have NBA next up, and I have action from a bunch of you guys for us to talk about with Daby Cab. First, CMAC, thank you for rocking with us. You can see CMAC every Tuesday on the Peter Loshak Show, every Wednesday right here on Betting with the Bag, and every Saturday for the college basketball live stream, as well as many other live streams in the football, NFL football world. And we're going to have college football live streams for some of these bowl games, big bowl games coming up. So excellent work, CMAC. We'll start with you, my man. Any last words here for the Cappers supporting the show?
Shout out to the chat. As always, I know we had a huge NHL card and had to get through it. But Steve G, Saturated, JW, BJ, Nunya, Ian, all the guys regular, Deshaun. Shout out to all you guys. Troy, keep killing it, my dude. In the NFL, Christopher Comentini, there's a guy, OG, right there. Shout out to him. But shout out to everyone, North Ender. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll be on Saturday with this guy right here. And I'm glowing, baby.
Respect from our guy C-Mac. Daby Cab, my friend, you have a huge show this very evening. The second one we have had, all about the hoops, baby, with our guest here in NBA who's joining us shortly. Big shout out to Anthony Richardson with the $4.99 dono. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for sharing your hard-earned cash with us. Anthony Richardson, blessing our action is what he's doing. Thank you, Anthony. I love it, my man. But Daby Cab, tell us a little bit about the new show that you have on Wednesdays with our Dutch boy Fresh.
Man, you know, none of us like to get up here and just like brag. So I don't think Dutch will do it. Man, he's hot as can be right now in the NBA. I want to say like 9-1 his last 10 or 8-2. I don't want to speak for the man, but I retweet his shit. He's been absolutely killing it. I've won my last 7 college basketball bets in a row. It's the only time you're going to hear me say it because I don't like doing that either. We're hot. Basketball is what we do, Jimmy, and we're having a blast doing it. We're going to live bet it. So if you guys in the chat haven't been there, show up because we're going to cover every NBA game as it moves, every college basketball game. I know that the college basketball slate is a little bit light today, obviously, at really light, let's be honest. But we'll talk college football because we got action in that, so it's all good. But we've been killing it, man. And you guys in the chat that show up, thank you guys. We look forward to seeing you tonight.
Respect, my man. There he is, Daby Cab. Big Wednesday show here right now. These Wednesdays with your next guest in NBA have been extremely profitable for me as well, with the guidance of our expert coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, star of the It's All About Hoops Wednesday night show, also the star of Medicate Mondays every Monday, alongside Daby Cab and Mikey Money and Razor Sharp Picks and Wham Bam 3000. Please welcome to the show from Las Vegas, Nevada, Mr. Dutch Boy Fresh. Dutchie, what's good, man? How are you?
Jimmy the motherfucking bag. The NBA is a hell of a drug. And you're looking at the plug. Yeah, man. It's good to be back with you, Jim. A little under the weather, but I wouldn't cancel on you, my friend. I wouldn't cancel on you.
You're a good man. You're a good man. We need you. We need you. Get that OJ in you. And thank you for making time for us. 6 games on the slate, and I did not move on college basketball. So I would like action here. We've got a lot of action here also from the Cappers in the chat. I've copied and pasted them. We got BJ's Max Bet. We got Justin McKelvey's Stacks Play of the Day. We got Vipers action. And we are ready to get to work right now. Let's get it all set up here. Let me move this over. And we will get started here. And we start at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the Stacks Play of the Day will lead us into this spot. Stacks Play of the Day is on the Philadelphia 76ers at plus 110. Joel Embiid out, Nicholas Batum out for the Sixers. So Paul Reed will be at center. That starting 5, Maxey Melton, Oubre Harris, and Paul Reed. Over on the Magic side, Fultz out, of course, but Isaac, Slow-Mo Joe, and Gary Harris are all game-time decisions. Your starting 5, Suggs, Black, Wagner, Banchero, and Carter. We have the Sixers coming off the Christmas Day loss to the Heat. 119-113 snapped their 2-game winning streak. The Magic were last seen yesterday. They're in the second half of a back-to-back. They beat the Wizards 127-119. Let's get into the line history over at Pinnacle for this one. We'll start with the side. We have the Magic sitting at -2 at -111. They opened up at -3. It dropped to 2.5, and then it dropped to 2. So we have a 1-point move for the Sixers. From a total perspective, we are sitting at 228.5. This opened up at 226, got up to 227.5, now at 228.5. So we have a 2.5-point move to the over and a 1-point move to the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's see if that correlates with where the action and the money is from the public here. 25% of the tickets and 24% of the cash is on the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, that immediately piques my interest. 1-point move towards them. Then from a total side of things, you have 72% of tickets, 73% of cash on the over. And we've seen the market follow that route. So two things are at play here. Is the betting public overvaluing the idea that Embiid is out of the lineup? Or it kind of combines with my fear of fading teams on the second half of a back-to-back because we've seen them step up. Now, this is a back-to-back with travel. Take it away, Dutch Boy Fresh. Stacks play today on the Sixers money line. Do you have a move on this one?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Tom Play, our guy, J Mac, Mr. Exotic Sweaty Butcher. Appreciate all the kind words. Sam, I see you, man. Hopefully everyone did have a happy holidays as well. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is a tough game, Jim. I think honestly, like when I broke this game down, I was coming in here, I was thinking I might be on the Magic first half. Looking at it, last night I did watch them play against the Wizards, handle business, but I mean that's just what everybody does against the Wizards and that suspect team they got over there. But yeah, man, I mean, it almost like you think the Magic would look to kind of beat the bully while they're down, losing obviously no Embiid. They've lost 9 out of the last 10 meetings versus these boys. So you would think the Magic, might want to step up here. But I don't like the fact that they did have to travel from the Wizards in a back-to-back situation. So if you like the Magic here, I'll probably go first half. But this line is a little suspect to me, to be quite honest with you. I do believe, probably the Sixers is the right side in this game. I'm not going to go to the window with it. I do have a play in this game, though, on a prop. I'll get that in just a second here, but I'll give you a little bit on the Magic and why, people are probably, going to the window with Orlando here. They are 10-1 as the favorite this year, 11-3 against the number at the crib. So if you've been betting the Magic, as we know, they've been a bet on team at the crib and against the number, 9-1 straight up last 10 at the house. So, losing 9 out of last 10 meetings versus these boys, they've been good at the crib. I mean, it just almost seems too easy to go to the window with the Magic here. However, the Sixers are 1-6 as a dog this year. But as I mentioned, have had their way with the Magic, beating them 11 out of the last 12 meetings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for Tobias Harris. We've talked about him stepping up, looking the most comfortable he's looked as the third piece in this new thing they got going there with Maxey and Embiid. But without him, the other night, he did have 27, 10 of 18 from the floor against the Heat. And prior game before that, when Embiid did play 30-plus minutes, he had 33. So I feel like Tobias is in a nice groove right now. Without Embiid, the prior two matchups, he had 23 versus these boys and 25 against them. So I'm going to go over 20.5 points with Tobias Harris. I think if the Sixers I think this is going to be a close competitive game. I like Maxey. I don't think they have a lot of guards to throw at Maxey, but that first step is pretty much unguardable. But I think Tobias is very comfortable in his role, and obviously will get a lot more touches without Embiid being on the court. So I think 25 plus is pretty easy for Tobias Harris tonight. So over 20.5 is good money.
And was that minus 105?
I got 110, but if you can get 105. Yeah.
Minus 110 for Tobias Harris. Interesting. The market would have immediately had me betting the Sixers, although I now fear greatly fading teams on second half back-to-back. Then you hear that Dan Kelly says no Embiid, it's got to be Magic or nothing. So that will just then take me off of the game.
I think
But
the Magic could pass a solid look, but I could see Sixers finding a way to get out of Orlando with a W tonight.
Well, I'll just stay off because I'll just stay off. But if he hadn't have said that, I would be on the Sixers. But that's fine. This is what we use these guys for, and I'm comfortable not moving on it. Found you that over 20.5 at -109 over at Pinnacle. Save a cent there. Justin McKelvey stacks play today on the Sixers, and I'm off. We'll move on to 7 p.m. Eastern. The Toronto Raptors now 11-18 and 3-9 on the road. Kelly McInnes, by the way, on the Sixers. And Saturated says it's the Magic. Sixers blow without Embiid. Can't close. And Rant's looking at Magic money line here. Sweaty Butcher's going to try to get Magic +4 or higher. Here we go. We have Raptors at Wizards. What a disappointment the Raptors have been. We're Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Let's take a look at the line history here. We'll start with this total. It's at 240. 240. It opened up at 239. We've climbed up to 240. It is juiced to the under. And from a spread look, we're sitting at a -8 right now. It opened at 6.5. This climbed up to 7. Now it's at 8. It is juiced to Washington at 8, but when it first moved to 8, it was -103, then +102, now +101. So it's juiced to Washington, but we have a 1.5 move towards the Raptors. A 3-9 Raptors team on the road are 8-point favorites. I mean, that is just absolute, idiocracy. And then we have, or idiocracy, I should say, but we have the issue here for these Wizards is Kyle Kuzma's a game-time decision. But good God. And the Raptors are healthy and have no excuses for their poor play. 30% of tickets and 63% of cash is on the under, yet has climbed a point. Then you have 30% of tickets and 80% cash on the Raptors here. So Ian Shaber says the Magic arena was empty for the home game to tie the franchise win streak. We've been so battered since Shaq were an abused spouse, he says. My God. And Saturated says Aaron Gordon got attacked by a dog. I don't know. I will have to look that up on my own time. Sammy Comer says, why are the Raptors laying 7? My goodness. Michael Buelna leans Wizards first quarter +2, says Raptors are the worst road first quarter team in the NBA. So maybe Dutch can provide some insight here. Should the Raptors be 8-point favorites to any team in the NBA? Should they be 8-point favorites on the road to a team in the G League?
Well, I mean, this is probably the spot, Jim, right here if you want to bet the Toronto Raptors. I can't do it, to be quite honest with you, because I just don't trust this fucking basketball team. But this is the spot here. They beat this team 3 straight meetings. The average margin, right, is 7 points per game. So right kind of on that number. 1-5 out of last 6 meetings versus these boys. However, they are 0-3 ATS last 3 on the road. Kind of cooled out, as we've mentioned, have been a fade of late, have lost 5 straight on the road and 2-8 against the number overall last 10 games. I just think Toronto, man, they got to figure it out. I got to see it. I mean, if there's any basketball team that's going to allow you to figure it out, it's going to be the Washington Wizards. I mean, they play absolutely no defense. They're led by Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. I mean, Tyus Jones is nice on the offense end, but he ain't stopping nobody defensively. They absolutely do not care to guard anybody, as you watched last night against Orlando, and we've seen all season. So I would expect Schroeder and Siakam to have a big game. Last time Siakam faced these boys, he had 39. So I would expect, OG and these guys to really get off, Jim. I think the number's somewhat kind of like right where it needs to be. It's pretty sharp. But Toronto should win this game, by double digits. The Wizards are just a fade. They're 1-9 straight up last 10 at the crib, 1-7 straight up last 8 at the house versus Toronto. So I guess you just can't be scared to lay the number. Unfortunately, my ass is in church with this game because I can't go to the window with Toronto on the road as this big of a favorite.
No, I get it. Now, maybe I don't even know if 6.5. I would have to have talked that out here on the show at 6.5. This is just not appealing at all. And we do have 4 games left And we have looks that I find very appealing with a lot of cappers in our chat. So, and we know that Dutch is going to be firing away. So let's just move past this bum fight. Rod Zawacki, though, in the house. Nice to see Rod. Wizards money line first quarter and money line first half. Says Crafters lost 5 straight road first quarters and first halves. So he bet the Wiz money line first quarter and first half. Kelly McKinnon just grabbed Washington plus 7.5. Let's move on. We move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we received a look from our friend Dan Kelly in this one, Dutch. He says the Bucks have been in New York City for 6 days. They lost to the Knicks on Monday after winning 9 of 10. Now, that was a very fishy line, the Christmas Day Knicks line. The line moved towards the Knicks, and they can't take care of business. And Dan Kelly says the only loser being to Indiana in the in-season tournament. He says they've got to be fired up. They've got to start strong tonight. And he's on the Milwaukee Bucks first quarter minus 1.5. And so is Sammy Calmer on the Milwaukee Bucks first quarter minus 1.5, which begs the question, should we tail Dan Kelly on this Bucks first quarter? Dan Kelly was on the Knicks on Christmas. Yes, that was as fishy of a line as ever. But Dan Kelly giving us the Milwaukee Bucks first quarter minus 1.5. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a game time decision here for the Bucks, and Dan is stressing, make sure that he is in the lineup. This is moved from -4.
Rob Jim, but I think he's gonna be in the lineup because it's at 6.5 now.
Yeah, it's moved from -4 to -6.
Yeah.
It was at -4 4 hours ago, so he must have been there at shoot around and must be in the lineup at -6 at -106. So if we're looking at the first quarter, despite the line move, -2s are available. There's still 1.5s that are available with juice. So that's still available, but the market is certainly indicating that Antetokounmpo will be available. Let's get into the total here, the full game total here. From that look, we have it's sitting at 240.5. That's juice to the under. A lot of books have moved it to 240. This opened up right at that number, 240.5, and it climbed to 241.5, and then there was a slight drop. So that's the total. And then when we get over to the cash flow on this spot, we have 87% of tickets and 95% of the cash on the Milwaukee Bucks, line moving towards them. 76% of tickets, 76% cash on the over, line moving away from that move. Take it away for us here, Dutch. Bucks Nets.
Yeah, man, I like where our guy DK was, talking. I felt like they've been well rested, sitting in, in the NY, and obviously, losing on Christmas morning like that, getting smacked around. A good team like this, I would expect them to come out and play a little bit better basketball, especially against, a team in Brooklyn who, plays competitive basketball. Did play last night. Wasn't a little bit of a funk as well. Had lost 5 straight, and then obviously, besides the Washington Wizards, I mean, goddamn, the best thing going when you're looking for a W is the Detroit Pistons. Them motherfuckers lost 27 straight basketball games, including 2 in a row to the Brooklyn Nets. And, Cam Thomas is nice. Mikal Bridges starting to find his game a little bit more now. But I still don't think this is that good of a basketball team. I think it kind of came back to reality over that last 5 games. And then, you run into Detroit and they can make anybody look damn good. So I like the Bucks here. Got a little bit better number here. I was expecting Giannis to play after this long, little delay, only playing against the Knicks there in those 2 games there. Honestly, the Bucks have been playing really good basketball. 7-1 straight up last 8 overall. As our guy mentioned, the only loss was to the Pacers there. Haven't lost back-to-back games since November 11th. And obviously coming off a loss to the Knicks. Pretty much wasn't in that game the entire game from start to finish. They are 5-1 last 6 in Brooklyn, and won the last 3 meetings by average margin of 7 points. So I like the 4. I dropped a little juice at the 4. But knowing that Giannis is still in the lineup, I think they run these boys off the court. I don't mind the first quarter, first half, but in a back-to-back game, where the Nets are pretty top heavy as well, not the deepest bench. I'm gonna look for the Bucks 4 quarters to run these boys off the court. So Fear the Deer, I believe you said -6. I see this number going up everywhere, so -6, whatever the best juice I can get, I'll make it official.
All right. Yes, we can get you that -6.
I got the 4 at -120, so whatever.
Oh, that's a great look here. Why don't we just see what Pinnacle is offering on their site? It says they're at -113. They're not. They're at -105 right now for the -6, which means the 5.5's -116. What would you prefer, -5.5, -116, or the -6 at -105?
We'll do the 6.
-6. Dutch is on the Bucks. -6 at -105 here. Very, very interesting situation, and I'm very interested in the Bucks early with you guys.
Nets has a dog or 1-5. Last 6 overall straight up. They want, so I just think this team came back to reality a little bit. They did start off extremely hot.
Oh, it looks like we have a fresh Pinnacle here. And
he's saying 128. It's -10. It's -6.5 at BetMGM already.
Jesus.
-105.
Okay, so let's move, and we have another move in the first quarter. All right, let's move over to another book to get you the -6 at -108, -6 at -110 available. So -6, -110. We can get you. There's been a big move at Pinnacle. If you guys want these first quarters for the Bucks, you need to move very quickly here. Locked in. Dutch is locked in, and Dan Kelly and Sammy on that first quarter. Let's roll on. Next up, we hit 8 p.m. Eastern. Phoenix Suns 14-15, 7-6 on the road. Houston Rockets 15-13, 12-3 at home. Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. We've already heard from Viper NB. He is on these Phoenix Suns on the money line. Let's take a closer look at the situation. Brooks, a game time decision for the Rockets, and Beal out, of course, for the Suns, and Okogie and Nurkic game time decisions. Let's get into the line history here for this one. From a game time spot, we have right now over at Penny. We are sitting with Houston plus 2.5 at +101. 2.5 at +101. They opened up at +2 at -105. It's gone from 2 to 2.5. So a half-point move towards the Suns. We do see 3s at other books, so maybe a more than that, maybe a full-point move. From a total situation, we're dealing with a 226. This opened up at 225.5, now at 226. Let's get into the cash flow for this one. We have 24% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the under. That just moved to 28 and 67 on the under. And from a spread perspective, we are dealing with 32% of the tickets and 39% of the cash on the Suns. That's very interesting. So not a lot of public action on it, but the market moving towards them. Let's just set up the rest situation here. Last saw the Suns on Christmas losing their third straight game, 128-114 at home to Dallas. On the Rockets side of things, their 2-game winning streak was snapped last night at home versus the Pacers, second half of a back-to-back, but at home. And we've seen teams handle this situation pretty well, but it's likely to be an angry Suns squad. And we've heard Vipe on the Suns. Let's see what Dutch Boy Fresh has to say about this spot. Toyota Center, Houston, Texas, Suns, Rockets.
Yeah, man. I don't know how angry the Suns really going to be quite honest with you. I mean, they've lost 5 out of the last 6. I mean, they're not playing good basketball right now. And maybe Nurkic goes tonight, but they're definitely missing his ass. But as I mentioned from the start of the season, you don't got a point guard. I mean, there's going to be issues, bro. There are going to be issues. And then, of course, when you got the guy who's supposed to be a point guard, who's not even a motherfucking point guard in Bradley Beal, who can't get on the goddamn court, there's even more issues. But I don't like what I see out of Phoenix. I don't like what I'm hearing. I'm sure you guys heard a little audio from our guy Devin Booker running back. They turned the ball over. He said, "You're gonna turn the ball over and not run back." Like, it's. I mean, you keep KD's body language. It ain't it. It ain't it. And you think, I mean, they're just gonna be all pumped up and pissed off to place the Houston fucking Rockets? I mean, I just don't see it. Now, I do see a young basketball team, a well-coached basketball team in the Houston Rockets who've won 12 out of 14 games at the crib off a loss. And yeah, back to back. But as you said, they didn't really have to travel and haven't played too many basketball games of late. Anyway, so I like the Rockets here first half. I bet them first half last night. Felt pretty good about it because they lost over the game outright overall to the Indiana Pacers, and the line was doing a bit of what it's doing in this game. So could Phoenix pull out a crunch time win? They could, but I don't like what I'm hearing from them. I don't like what I'm seeing from them. And to be quite honest with you, KD's no bum by any means. Don't get it twisted, but he's declining. He's definitely declining. And not having a point guard is a big issue. Ask the Houston Rockets. They didn't have one last year, and how did it work out? They got one this year in Van Fleet. It's working out an awful lot better for these boys. I like them first half plus 1.5. They're 3-1 against the number. Last 4 first halves at home. They played last time they placed these boys, they were up by 19 at halftime. And as I mentioned, you're getting a team that's winning at the crib, coming off a loss, should come out pretty fucking pissed off, and a young, well-coached basketball team with Udoka. As I mentioned, the Suns 5-6, 3 straight losses. I mean, so now they're going to be mad now. Ain't nothing changing. They're 1-4 ATS last 5 first half, and lost 7 out of last 9 games. 0-3 straight up and against the number last 3 on the road. I just don't see where all the love is for the Suns. Are they a better basketball team? Do they got more talent than the Houston Rockets? Yes, they do, but I don't know if they're I don't think they're clicking in all angles right now. So give me a team that's coming off a loss. They made a fight too. Came back in that Indiana game and then gave it away late again. So I believe they'll be ready to rock and roll from start to finish here. Not mad at the full game, Jim, but I'll take the 1.5 first half. It's good money.
Would you like the 2 at -114?
Yeah, give me the 2. Give me the bucket. They're second in points, too. That's what I think is going to – and second in points allowed. That's what I think the difference is in this basketball game. One team plays defense, one team doesn't. And I do believe they have the better coach at the crib off a loss. You could say Phoenix is pissed off from losing their Christmas, but they've lost 7 out of the last 9 basketball games, bro. Like, I don't think they're too pissed off, to be quite honest with you.
That's an interesting take. Rockets first half plus 2 at -114. I'm sure would be blessed by our LJ from H-Town. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we heard already from BJ, who's given us his best bet. And we know what he's been doing with these best bets. Thunder money line for our guy BJ. New York Knicks 17-12, 9-8 on the road at the Oklahoma City Thunder, 19-9, 11-5 at home. We're at Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. First off, healthy groups. Sims is out, for the Knicks, but 2 pretty healthy squads. Let's get into the line history and the situation. First off, we saw the Knicks on Christmas Day. They bounced back from their loss to the Bucks on the 23rd by beating them 129-122. Thunder are on the second half of a back-to-back after easily beating Minnesota 129-106 last night. And BJ has moved on the Thunder money line. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Sorry, let me move to full game, and here we go. So from a spread situation, we have Oklahoma City -3, -112. They opened up at -2.5, and they've moved to 3. From a total look, we are sitting here with a 240. Opened up at 2. Opened up at it's confused. No, I think that's a mistake. So open up at 239, and we're now at 240, 239, 240. And we take a look at the cash flow for this one. Our second to last game on the show. 77% of the tickets and 78% of the cash on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then 20% of tickets and 32% of cash is on the under. Take it away for us here. This is a fascinating spot. Do the Knicks come back to earth after looking fantastic on Christmas night? Or do the Oklahoma City Thunder come back to earth after smash and grabbing the Timberwolves just last night here at home? Take it away, Dutch. Knicks, Thunder.
Yeah, man, I like the Thunder here. I think they've been at home since the motherfucking 16th of December. God damn, it's a long time. They've been on that home cooking for damn near over 2 weeks now. So that's good money to me, man. I like it here. Especially getting that game under. You could say, oh, they're gonna be tired, but I felt like it was like a cruise control game last night against the Timberwolves. These boys are young. They got young legs all around. I mean, Dort was stroking it last night, 5 threes. I mean, I like what I see from this Thunder team here. Kind of laid an egg on Christmas Day against the Lakers, but outside of that, I mean, they've been real good money. 5-1 straight up, last 6 at the crib. Catching them as a small favorite here. They're 6-2 as a favorite. 11-4 straight up, last 15 meetings in OKC versus these boys as well, and they're 6-1 against the number versus the Eastern Conference. I believe the Knicks are going to be a little bit fat and happy. Winning on Christmas Day, beating Milwaukee, kind of feeling themselves. The New York vibes probably really went up over Christmas Day, I would believe. But I do believe Mitchell Robinson and is going to be issues. It's going to catch up to them now. They don't have any Sims, so they're really relying on Hartenstein now to be the big guy who's just undersized and too fucking slow for Dort. I mean, not for Dort, for Chet Holmgren, excuse me. Who's, man, kid's nice, man. He's really good. He's fast. He's quick. He's a fucking basketball player. Shoots unbelievable from the arc. This Chet Holmgren kid, I know we talk a lot about Wemby, but man, this guy's good. I just think overall the bench is really gonna be missing and some pieces here and some size down low with no Sims and no obviously Mitchell Robinson. So it's gonna catch up to him. With OKC is where you take advantage of them is with the bigs. And I don't really outside of Julius Randle. I mean, they really don't have any. So I look for Shea to do what he do, pretty much outplay or match Jalen Brunson. And at the end of the day, I just think OKC's a younger, better team at the crib right now. To be quite honest with you. Also, the perimeter shooting here, I don't know. The Knicks numbers are kind of insane so far this year. I don't believe they're this good of a 3-point shooting team. I think. At the end of the day, the Thunder are a way better perimeter shooting team than them. So I do think the Knicks perimeter shot, even though the numbers are better than I think it is, like I really don't think they're that good of a 3-point shooting team. I think that will show here. But I think they take the momentum from last night, Jim. They looked real good against Minnesota. I believe they'll take it right into this game. I think the Knicks start off a little slow. I'm not mad at the first quarter, first half of OKC, but I'm going to take the full game. The Knicks have been suspect on the road of late, 3-4 against the number, last 7 on the road. And as a dog, they're 5-12 straight up, last 17 as a dog. So I'm going to go with the Thunder here. I think Shea gets a little bit more than Brunson. And they got to contain Julius Randle. If Julius Randle has a 30-point, 15-point rebound game, obviously I'm going to lose this bet. He's capable of that. But I'm going to look for Chet Holmgren and these boys to get it done at the crib.
Thunder -3, -110. It's some interesting. Big shout out to Kelly McInnes, blessing our action with a $20 dono. Thank you, Kelly. I've been watching you crush it, man. Kelly sends me his huge scores, and there's been a lot of them of late. So respect. Sweaty Butcher looking at the under 240 in this one. Interesting from Sweaty Butcher. You guys know I don't like the last game of a homestand. I love the second to last game of a homestand. That's when Thunder smash and grab the Wolves. It says home faves on last game of a 5-game homestand, 2-8 against the spread, 3-7 to the under, so 7 unders out of 10. And for me, I don't want the Knicks after beating the Bucks the way they did and then having to travel. And I do not want the Thunder on the last game of a homestand after smash and grabbing the Wolves. I don't think Thunder's a bad look by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just not something that really appeals to me to put money down on and have to focus on this evening. But I will cheer you on with that Thunder look at -3. At this point, it is Bucks early. That's the only thing that I find appealing, and that number is moving very quickly, and I haven't bet it yet. So let's talk about our final spot on the board here. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Cavaliers 17-13, 8-6 on the road at the Dallas Mavericks, 18-12, 8-6 at home. We're at American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Another, tricky spot. We all watched Luka the Dawn go off on Christmas Day, and now they're right back in action at home against these Cavaliers. Cavaliers have been off since the 23rd, so they've been off now for a while, and the Mavericks coming off their second straight win. Look at these. They've scored 272 points over their last two basketball games, both wins at home against the Spurs and then at the Suns. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Luka right now, a game time decision. Same with Josh Green and Hardaway. We know Kyrie and Kleber out. And then you want more game time decisions. LeVert, Mitchell, Merrill. It's crazy what's happened now with the NBA. If you guys are going to legalize sports gambling, then you can't do this. We have Mobley, Jerome, and Garland out. So, who are we going to get out there? We know that Jared Allen and Dean Wade will be out there. This is trash. But let's see if there's an angle here. We have Dallas sitting at -3 right now at Penny. That -3 is at. Oh, and by the way, I got you the Thunder -3, -110.
Nice, thank you.
It was -112 at Pinnacle. Here, the Mavs opened up as 4-point favorites. That's dropped down to 3. And then from a total standpoint, we have it sitting at 230.5. That's 230.5 juice to the over, but it opened up at 232. So we have a move to the under and a move to the Cavaliers. Cash-wise here, you have 36% of the tickets and 78% of the cash on the Cavs. No information on the total. What the hell do we do with this, man? It seems like it's very tricky to have a game script that you can count on when you're not entirely sure who will be in the lineup. Maybe you're able to do this. Take it away for us here, Dutch Cavs, Mavs.
Yeah, man, this one is tricky, and I wanted to be on the Mavs here. And then, as our guy Sam, I am Comer in the chat, says it. They got Minnesota on deck tomorrow, and this is probably why we got Luka questionable. Is he going to play tonight? I was definitely looking for Luka. And then, boys, even after beating the Suns, I don't think that was too big of a win for them. That's just they go in there expecting that. I was all over the +4.5 because I'm fading the Suns right now, and that's why I'm on the Rockets first half tonight. But yeah, I look at it as, how do you bet Cleveland? I know some guys that like Cleveland today, and I just don't see it with the guys that are out. You don't know who's going to play, who's out. They play Milwaukee in 2 days, and then obviously we got the Mavericks playing Minnesota, a much more important game tomorrow night. Mavs 4-0 their last 5 or 4-0 as a favorite in their last 10 games here. 4-2 straight up last 6 overall at the crib. I would only look Dallas here, but with the question marks we have, you got the Cavs being 1-4 as a dog, 2-6 ATS last 8 meetings overall versus these boys. No Garland. Jim touched on it. I just don't see how you could go to the window with Cleveland, but I'm not gonna ride with the Mavs today simply because of the question marks in Minnesota on deck, which I wouldn't be surprised if the Dawn takes the night off. And no Luka, no bueno.
So that would be the idea. Take the Cavs at +3. Luka announced out. Moves towards closer to a pick'em.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. So I'm not playing that game though.
No, it's not a fun one to play here. So, but that, I guess there's some sense in that. Let's review all action here. Viper MB on the Suns money line. Dutch gets his card started with Tobias Harris over 20.5 points at -109. Justin McKelvey is on the 76ers at +110. That's the Stacks play of the day. We left the Raptors Wizards game alone. Dutch is on the Bucks -6 at -110. That's moved drastically. So we have 7. Now, Dutch got in at 4. So Dan Kelly gave us the first quarter on the Bucks, and so did Sammy Calmer. I'm very interested in betting that as soon as the show's over. Dutch on the Rockets, first half +2 at -114. He's on the Thunder -3 at -110. And BJ's best bet is the Thunder money line, and Cavs Mavericks. We have stayed off. Dutch, my man, big show for you guys tonight. Why don't you tell the chat a little bit about our big All About the Hoops show this evening?
Yeah, man. 7:15 Eastern time, 4:15 right out here on the fresh side. We'll be going live. We'll have Daby Cab in the building, of course. We'll get Trout Wham in the building. I believe LJ's got the flu, so no LJ. So get well, my guy. Know what it's like. See if we can't bring out some other guys out the woodworks. Maybe Ski the Prophet will join us. We'll get some guys, but most importantly, we're gonna get to the motherfucking bag, breaking down each and every NBA game. College card is light, so you'll be hearing an awful lot about the association tonight, which just so happens to be what I like to fucking talk about. So I'm looking forward to it. Got some good games. We'll be diving in most likely right away to the Brooklyn-Milwaukee game, and then we'll have the Rockets right in there with the Suns, and then of course we'll have that Knicks and Thunder game. We'll be live for about a little over 2 hours, vibing out, looking for plays. We break down games that we bet pregame, and then of course live action throughout. It's a good motherfucking time. And we count on the chat to help us out, breaking down the games, finding edges. So definitely check it out.
Respect. Dutch Boy Fresh and Daby Cab this evening on All About the Hoops. And every Wednesday night as we move forward. And Dutch, of course, star of Medicate Mondays and also the star of our NBA programming here on Wednesdays of Betting with the Bag. Dutch, respect, my man. Excellent work. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
I appreciate you, Jim. Happy holidays to all the real ones. Y'all stay fresh.
There he is, Dutch Boy Fresh. Let's review all action and let's touch once more on the poker tournament. Our poker tournament is this Friday, and we're going to add a new link because if you open up a new account through our website, it's 100% bonus up to $1,000, but then you can't transfer the money over to poker until you roll it over. But we have a poker link. Gives you the same bonus, but it's just for poker. So we're going to get that set up here shortly. Also, we want to tell you guys a little bit about our new NFL pool. We have a playoff pool in NFL that we're dropping here, and it's really fun. We're just working out the final details. Jose, it's great to see you, my friend. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you, pal. And I'll ask questions about that in a second. But our new playoff pool is going to be announced this week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a really, really fun. It's pretty simple and going to be enjoyable. We're talking about the buy-in for that. We're talking about it being less than the regular season pool, the Cappers contest. I think that makes sense. So, probably be about $50, but we're going to discuss all of that here shortly and go over all the action. But first, Jose Bouquet, how are you excited about our Friday night live stream? Are you going to do Zooms for this one? You did Zooms for the last one.
I did. I don't have the Zooms, so I will not be. It will just be a regular day. Okay. Of playing poker with the fellas. Might even put a bounty on my head. Who knows?
Did you see I raised my bounty for the holiday?
Yeah, I did. Period. I did see that.
Better be a Canadian that knocks me out.
Yeah. And specifically not a French Canadian, though.
No, I've turned, K Wolf has, and also.
He softened your stance?
Yeah, he has. We have some French Canadian cappers in the chat who are quality individuals. So I've backed away from that.
Fair. That's fair. I guess I understand that. But it's going to be a fun time. Us two hosting a poker tournament. The breaks are kind of a grind. So make sure when you start this tournament, you have your fucking bottle beside you so you can get your refills and you got a toilet nearby because it's going to be a long first session, I guess. I don't know what there's called, but it's fun. But yeah, how was your Christmas, Jimmy? Everyone wants to know about that.
I was just, pretty chill. We stayed here, didn't do much. I think we're gonna
it was short.
It was very, very short, but that's fine. I like working with you guys. This brings me. I want action, and my action is better when I talk it out with you guys. So I'm really happy to be back, and we're no live streams for a little bit, so it's it's pretty relaxed here, and I'm excited about our poker night on Friday. It's going to be really, really fun. So,
but what'd you get? That's the real question. Did you get anything? Did you give anything interesting?
Not really. No. No, I don't want anything. Just if you want to give me a gift, I just say get it for the kids. I've got everything I want right here at Pubapalooza. That's all I want, and I want to wake up and it to be the Wednesday of flying out to Pubapalooza. That's what I want, man. I'm very, very excited about that. Very, very excited about that. JP's asking if Bolsa Jim's best NHL look today. Let's go over all the action here with our man Jose Bouquet. I do find the Senators' first period very appealing. I'm not sure if I'll bet that right after the show. Then, if I'm looking at my action here, yes, the Bruins yes, the Bruins, after losing 4 straight games and sitting in all Christmas and going over to Buffalo, that's my best look on the board. I like my card, though. But yes, the Bruins is the best bet on the card here for me. So this is my action in NHL. I'm on the Blue Jackets at plus 220, the Bruins -1 at plus 104, the Penguins at plus 108, Blues at plus 147, and the Kraken at plus 131. Then C-Mac is on the Blue Jackets at plus 223. He's on the draw in Capitals Rangers at plus 390. He's on the Bruins -1.5 at plus 166. He's on the over 6 in Pittsburgh Islanders. He's on the Blues, but he got a better line than me at plus 151. And then we stayed off of Carolina, Nashville, Detroit, Minnesota. C-Mac's on the Jets -1.5 at plus 110. We stayed off of Avalanche, Coyotes. And I'm on, of course, the Kraken. He's on the Ducks at plus 210. And then I don't know if I'll get to the window with the Sharks first period. JP's going to be in Puerto Rico in 2 weeks practicing his Espanol. We need you in San Antonio.
Agreed, JPZ. I got some advice for JPZ. It's a good advice.
Okay.
In Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
When you walk into your first bar, you swing the door opens, and you just look around and you just yell, Boricuas! And then you'll be great. You'll be great, right. JPZ. You'll be in heaven right there. They'll come to you like flies to a flyer. So I'd be very impressed with that.
Flies to a flyer.
Bright light, whatever. You get it. You get it.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it. You get it.
I thought you were saying that they're going to burn you alive.
They will burn you alive. That is actually very true. That's it's good advice right there.
Yeah, North Ender also thinks that's terrible advice. Very interesting. Is should you do what Gokster does and call all Hispanic people you meet buddy?
No, never. That's the most condescending thing ever. I still can't believe Gokster does that just so casually, so flippantly.
Yeah. It's I think we've got it out of him though. So no action for us in college basketball. In college football, Daby's on the over. We did not move on the Tech Green Wave spot, but Daby's on the over 58 in the Mayo Bowl. C-Mac's on the over 58 in the Holiday Bowl. I'm going to bet that. That will be my lone look in college football. And then C-Mac's on the over 55 in the Aggies Cowboy spot. Now, of course, Cab's on the over 55. C-Mac moved on Oklahoma State at +3 2 weeks ago. BJ moved on at +2. Then in NBA, we just went over all of the action. So that is our show for today. Now, did we get any signups during our show for the poker tournament?
Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how our friend Perky Sanderson is in here as well. Shout out to Perky, who wants to have a cage match with me at Pubblepalooza. So maybe we can make that happen. But I hate to break it to you, Jim. It's still just us three. And good job. JP's going to be in San Antonio, by the way.
I know, isn't that dope, man? JP's going to be running with us finally. Respect. We need signups for the poker tournament. We are a little over 48 hours away from the poker tournament. We need you. And if you want to join us live, we need you. And we want to celebrate. I'm going to talk to our guy Jeff. We need to entice people. I think we should entice them if they sign up for the poker tournament live on air and are going to San Antonio. Maybe we should put a little prize package together for them. Something of that ilk.
I will put a guaranteed pickup from the airport in that prize package from me. You get one free Jose Uber from the airport to Southtown 101 in that prize package.
Look at that. So anybody who signs up during our live stream that is coming to San Antonio gets a guaranteed pickup at the airport from Jose. Now we're talking, Jose. That's exactly
that extends from today and tomorrow, damn it. Especially during our Cappers contest show as well.
Has to be live during the show.
And by the way, good news, Jim.
Yes.
Our boss, Jeff Slaughter, smart man. I said Chargers, but I sent him the Rams line, so we got the right pick in.
Yeah, we cashed it.
So there we go. So shout out to that.
We cashed it. JP just still needs his prize for guessing the weight of someone's baby last year. It's funny. I have a vague recollection of that. I remember because who doesn't love betting on babies' weight? But whose baby was that? I have a vague recollection of that, JP. So congratulations for all your successes. I can understand why you're upset not receiving your prize for that. We'll work on that.
Who
We'll
wouldn't
work
be?
on that. Thank you guys, all of you, for rolling with us. Robert Franklin, Jay Peasy, Perky Bump Sanderson, Flex 305 JC, Kelly
What
McKinnon.
do the
Thank you for
bumps
the
mean?
dono. Not important. Not helpful. Not
Okay.
helpful. Not helpful. Bo Jackson in the house. Top set. Dan Kelly. Velo Cuts. Mike Wilkerson. The Truth Teller. Rem Most. And he says, Merry Christmas, Lamb Chop. And he gives you a handshake.
Thank you, Ramos. Merry Christmas to you. I hope you had a nice time. Hope you got, maybe some nice things. I don't know. I don't know what you would get that's nice.
Sammy Comer in the house. Dom Play, Dan Kelly, the Sweaty Butcher, North Ender, Mike Wilkerson, Joe Yurkovich, BJ, Andrew G, Troy Torrance. Thank you guys. Bo Jackson. Thank you all. Mel, Robert Franklin, Markel. Thank you. Michael Buelna Coin. We love you guys. Happy holidays. Sign up for the poker tournament and get that cash. Rod Zawacki on the Islanders puck line, Flames puck line, and 76ers plus 2.5. This is all the best 2024, everybody. Jose, can you please bless us? Bless our action and leche us into the future.
Yes, I hope Santa brings you winning bets. Hope they continue into the new year. I have a bird to purchase very soon as well. Going to purchase a bird. Going to be very fun. Jose Bouquet, bird co-owner, very soon. Shout out to my mother in Knoxville as well. Maybe I'll tell my family to go to Bally's Reclaim James. See, my whole family just goes to see Reclaim James. But that'll be funny. Let's fucking win some money today, guys. Shout out to the Bruins. Shout out to the hockey. Let's get some hardwood in there too. Leche, Los bookmakers.